In a world where creatures of myth and legend exist, a covert task force is charged with keeping humanity safe from supernatural threats. And when young Nancy Moon stumbles into the eternal battle between good and evil, she finds... Oh my god, will you shut up? What's happening? Agent Beckett here. Aren't you tired of stuff like that? Want something different? Roll the tape. Whoops. Sorry about that. That's a song I'm writing for my ex. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's more like it. Alrighty. Welcome to the world of the Mythicals. We have it all. Monsters. Magic. Government agents. He's the strong silent type. This guy. Ugh, gross, dude. Get some kind of cream or something. Lots of 90s style action. Pew pew pew. And that strong female lead alluded to earlier. Not to mention a dashing field commander with a great sense of fashion. Look at those glasses. South River Studios presents The Mythicals, Issue 1. Buy it, if you dare. Ugh, will you can it already? How'd you get free? Now beat it before I lose my cool. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today. Like right now.
Sign up today on Indiegogo.
In the middle of the night, or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
Lockdown Games and Luke Stone Studios presents Hybrids, the role-playing game. This core rules to the new Base Plus 2 game engine allows you to design your own character and create your own homebrewed adventure, complete with charts, maps, and every resource needed to dive right into the Hybrids universe on your own, or continue where the quick play left off with a brand new module. Get caught up on the series with the Killing Field trade paperback. Enhanced with creator commentary and behind-the-scenes information, this special edition gives you even more value in entertainment. All this and more on Indiegogo.
Epsilon City needs heroes, but will Scratch, the Chrome Dog, have what it takes to answer the call? Beck, Chrome Dog, starting February 3rd on Indiegogo.
What a crowd. What a crowd. It happened again, Nick. It always happens, Nick. Check it out.
You know, when the show started and you went, hey, Nick, you want to do a show with me? I'm like, did I just agree to a series or an episode?
Right.
You know, you had trouble. You had to find people to work through. Because, you guys know I got to be bottom of the barrel if somebody comes to me. But,
Not a chance, man.
But
Nick,
now,
you were
man,
top of my list, brother.
it's like you look at the kind of people you get pulled in here. Look at these guys.
I know, right? Look at these pretty faces. Look at that, man.
I mean, I'm pulling down the overall ratio here of hotness.
No. Come on. Now, Nick shared a picture of him and his wife on their, rehearsal night. And I was like, look at that guy.
Yeah, 20
With
years
the hair
ago,
and the
album,
beard.
baby.
Oh,
And he's
nice.
fit. I mean, he looked like he could have kicked somebody's butt.
Spelt.
Yeah.
About
So when he
3
says,
lifetimes ago.
when Nick says that Nick took out 7 guys with knives, I believe it.
I get it. And he's got the radio voice. He'd be like, well, excuse me, madam.
Excuse me one moment. Excuse me while I take care of this riffraff.
No,
I can see it
excuse
right now.
me while I
I
pull
got
up
it,
my
man.
pants.
Can I get you a drink while
Yeah.
I'm gone?
Yeah.
I mean, a fire extinguisher was involved in that case. I'm not
Well,
gonna
that's fine.
lie,
That's fine.
but
See, I liked using projectiles, and so as soon as you said stick fire extinguisher, I was on board.
oh yeah, I believe in fighting like a Sith. What's my scenery, and how can I throw it at somebody who?
Right. I don't know if you've noticed, but especially at night, my background is all red now.
Yes,
I've gone.
You are just going increasingly dark side. I've been watching
Well,
it for
you
a
know,
while.
It's
What do your eyes look
yeah.
like right now?
Dark yellow.
Are they yellow?
They are totally yellow.
I am the one who knocks.
Not even close. I'm such a puppy dog.
No,
I'm such a puppy
I
dog.
think Chrome Dog handles the puppy dog stuff around here.
Right, I think so, yeah. That campaign's doing pretty good. We got a new backer last night. We're over a grand now, finally. Yeah, we're up to 15 backers, yeah. So
We're clawing this one.
this one is going to be tooth and nail.
Yeah,
As soon as this first 30 is over, we're going to extend it, and I'm going to run a Kickstarter at the same time. And I'm going to run a Fun My Comic too.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah, I'm going to run a Fun My Comic with it too. We might talk about that just a little bit today, because I love this crowd. This crowd is worth getting some of the inside information. We're not broadcasting a lot of this, what's going on behind the scenes, but we might give you.
We're
just
not broadcasting as we broadcast.
Might give you a sliver. Man, yeah, it's been a good week. Nick, thank you for holding down the fort last week while I was trying to get my stuff together.
It actually was a great show.
Worked
It's
out.
one for the history books where
It really is.
everything went wrong in the most entertaining fashion possible. you
Yeah.
know?
And man,
that's
what lively conversation.
Oh yeah, we get. God, I had people. Are you guys okay?
Yeah,
we're
we're fine. I had people ask the same thing. It's like, are you and Nick okay? I'm like, why? Well, you guys got kind of into it on the stream. I'm like, yeah?
Yeah. You should
Yeah,
see
big
how
deal.
we get going off stream.
Yeah, big
I,
whoop.
I didn't notice a thing.
I know. I mean, it was very compelling.
Yeah, I'm like, Nick and I we are brothers. We are brothers. And,
This is something the world needs to get. You can
Right.
argue without suddenly feeling like you need to succeed from the nation because you
Right.
disagree with somebody who may not even be in your state. It's
Right,
just
yeah.
like, healthy discussion, Comic Block Belt.
Yeah, it's like, what's the
And
point? Yeah.
sometimes it gets a little heated when you are actually passionate and you give a dang.
And you
And that's
should
what
be.
I will never be the breed of
Conversation.
fool who I don't care.
And that's what
I care. I give
that's
a
what
dang.
brings us around to each other's view, Nick.
Yeah.
Is our passion
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
So because
It's
you care
passion.
so much,
Naked.
To
and
say
wet
it.
and jacuzzi.
Passion and the
I'm like-
pantalones.
I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't shoot first.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try Nick's version because his is less permanent.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, really,
And see,
I
you can
enjoy.
always escalate to shooting after you've tried to
Right,
de-escalate.
right.
Yeah.
But,
Now
you know,
we're using the this is metaphor, people.
yes.
We're not
going at it
literally
again.
talking about shooting people unless it's necessary. Okay,
Well, and you
it's
know what?
metaphorical.
Ironically,
Metaphor.
though, if we are, it's totally the ideal of legal self-defense.
Yes.
You know, you're trying to resort to that as a last effort, not a first. Because while
Yeah.
you know, my dad always said, I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6.
Yeah.
Amen.
But I prefer to avoid both at all possible because I like hamburgers.
Well, I don't
And
like people.
Hamburgers are hard to get. You know,
Yeah.
Here's the thing: I like
They're dead
persons.
or in jail, you
Let me
know?
say this:
Not as many.
I like persons, but I start to get a little. It's like George Carlin said this. He goes, people are wonderful. They're beautiful individuals, full of nuance and life and beauty, and I love people. He goes, but when crowds start to gather, I get nervous.
Yeah.
It's people in groups. They start to lose. They sacrifice their individuality for the group, and that's what we try not to happen here.
You know what, guys? I mean, shooting should be the last option because you have
Yes.
disembowelment, quartering,
You have disembowelment.
That's just too easy.
So many options.
Now, you sure you're not an American, Pedro? Like,
Oh,
that was
no,
one of those-
man.
Like, I started to see there was a bald eagle. I'm not even kidding. There was a bald
Yeah.
eagle circling my car a couple days ago.
Nice.
You know, and now I'm hearing Pedro like, well, the answer is waterboarding. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like, God bless America.
America. Okay, guys, for the record, waterboarding leaves no marks.
Yes, that's correct.
So,
And look at Craig's face. He's like,
If
Craig's
you put
like,
a bucket under
I'm
them,
not gonna-
it's sustainable. You can reuse water. But I should not have said that. That was a
the
terrible
Craig's
joke.
face when you said that was hilarious. He's like,
sorry, guys.
yeah, yeah.
But one neat thing, and totally horrible cancelable humor aside, Immortal Rising said, bees be steaming lately. Everybody's crabby all the time. I'm going to tell you something. I think that's what they want.
Yeah, they like
Because
that.
it's one thing that's been proven. If you are mad, you are between 10 and 20 IQ points lower.
Yeah.
Being mad makes you dumber.
Well, that
That's not good for some of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No.
But see, it makes, when you're mad, you want to move, and you want to move in a direction, but it's really easy for somebody who can manipulate you to re-aim you wherever they want you, so you don't look at what you want. And I think that's why you turn on any news source, you turn
First
on
mistake.
any show. Yeah, what?
First mistake. Don't turn on the news anymore.
Yeah.
Well, no,
why bother?
what you have to do is you have to turn on the news in as moderate as you can, knowing you're going to hear some stuff you disagree with. If you don't disagree with some of the stuff you hear on the news, you're not watching the right news source.
Right.
That's
absolutely.
my opinion. I look for one that's like 50% I agree with what they're saying, and 50% it like makes me a little uncomfortable or angry. That means I'm not getting too biased.
Yeah.
And then then you process it. I do
Look,
this boring news.
I'll even watch the Young Turks if that tells you
Ooh.
anything. I can't stand those guys
I need a.
Oh, man.
because I just
Yeah,
want to
but-
hear what they're saying.
Well,
Yeah. You
and,
have
and there's
to.
part of it.
Yeah. What's
It's
the
like-
argument?
Actually, I'm on it. all
Okay,
of it,
so guys,
unfortunately.
I don't want to sound like an advocate of violence, but my last fist fight was like 12 years ago. And
Oh,
it was
okay.
with a guy who looked just like Shank Eager. Like I see this.
He
with
does
a
have
guy-
a punchable face, though.
yeah, like I punched that face. I punched that face.
It's like, I'm sorry.
That's a pun-
I couldn't
You know,
hear
my mom told me that about me.
Yeah,
It's like, sorry, son, you just got a punchable
a
face.
punchable face. Yeah.
I have heard that about you, Luke.
Yeah.
I was
I mean,
really
I know
hoping
it's
Joe
joking,
Rogan.
but I've genuinely heard there are times where I'm looking at Luke and he's got a punchable face. Like, I understand. Experience has taught me that, especially without the beard, without the facial hair, I have a very punchable face. That's why, like, they did X-rays on me, and they're like, the ocular bone, it's been busted a couple times. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No. It's
I
almost
don't
like a little guy with a big
Craig,
mouth.
you're going to have to get a little more verbally Like,
no, he doesn't. He's
I
just
seen
saying
he's all
you-
like, look, he's
I
like,
love-
he's just waiting for the opening.
Yeah, do it.
Sometimes you got to make yourself an
I'm
opening.
wondering if Nick like hung out with Patrick Swayze for like before Roadhouse or something.
Yeah.
Did the studio send him
Rip
to you?
the
or
dude's
something?
throat out. Yeah.
Like,
What
here's what
saves
you
me
wanna
from
do.
what saves me from this punchable face, at least here in Panama, is that wherever I go, it's like Attack on Titan. Like everybody's just like right up to my elbows. It's like, nah, dude.
Right. Yeah. No one's gonna hit you because there's a giant there.
Pedro's like got his hand on their
So,
head. Like, that's
Craig,
good.
you mentioned all I heard you say was Joe Rogan. That's all I heard you say.
Joe Chank there, whatever his name is, he
yeah.
wanted to fight Joe Rogan, and I was like, why didn't Joe Rogan take him up on that one? That would be the greatest. That would.
You know what? I used
legal
to,
trap.
in an earlier time in America, if two dudes had a beef, they would go out and they beat the tar out of each other. You know, and if it was vaguely civilized, you give them boxing gloves or whatever, and they'd air it out and they'd go on down the line.
It wasn't that long ago. I grew up on that. I mean, even in the military, you had a saying, "Take him out by the toolbox." Hey, let's take this out by the toolbox.
Get it out of your system so we can get back to work.
And then you go get a beer and it's over with.
I would love to see some of these politicians, because heck,
If you get licked, you get licked.
Who I think it was Bill Clinton who. We're going to pause everything political about Bill Clinton, but this statement, okay? Because he's talking to Newt Gingrich, and I'm going to give him the exact same courtesy. and whatever happened, he said, "Sir, if you weren't who you are, and I wasn't who I am, we'd go out in the parking lot, and we'd settle this." And watching, Newt's eyes get, kind of whoop. The thought of a fairly big Arkansas boy going, "All right, we can."
If you weren't who you are and I wasn't who I am,
it's like,
I loved Bill Clinton. I'm not gonna lie, I did. I don't care about his politics.
Right.
I don't. I mean, he was a fun guy. I mean,
he was so cool. He played the saxophone.
Yeah, he played the saxophone, ate cheeseburgers, jogged, but he was fat.
Oh man, that SNL skit with Phil Hartman.
Yeah. He has
he's like eating my book, taking my warlord.
Yeah, man, I loved it.
He
I loved it. It was good stuff.
I mean, come on, that guy was a superhero in the 90s.
Let's welcome the chat, and then we'll see how everybody else's week has been going.
We all need a moment of love to Old Pumpkin Thighs, because
Right, Old Pumpkin
Bill put
Thighs.
up with Old Pumpkin Thighs. I don't remember what that was from, but I thought it was the funniest thing I ever heard.
Let's welcome Independent Creators Directory is here in the house. Adele, welcome. We got Matt Ruth on the panel and in the house, in the chat room. We got Grey Wolf Graphics. Welcome. I'm glad you're able to figure that out. And yeah, sometimes you can make those things a little more complicated than what they need to be. But yeah, there we go. Joe Bachman, welcome. I believe he and Independent Creator Directory is the same person.
That's the same. Joe likes to make sure that people get as many likes as possible.
He's double dipping.
Fantastic.
That's called double dipping.
And he does
Always
run
happy
the
with the double dip.
indcd.org, and I encourage everybody here. His rates are like, last time I checked, they were
Super
like
cheap.
$10 or $12.
Yeah, super cheap.
And
Check
you
it out.
get an online presence totally separate from social media and cancelability and getting stuck or eloned or whatever, where people just can go to indiecd.org and find good creators.
You guys hear
Other
that?
creators who are looking for people
My
can go
gosh.
there. No nonsense, no BS. I think he's trying to start a social media. I'm serious.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like this whole
awesome.
canceling thing
Somebody's
is not
backing
working
up.
anymore.
Yeah,
not
it's
here.
at my house.
It's not here.
Yeah, it's at my house. My neighbors they're gutting a room, and they just apparently Thursday morning is the day they want to have all the stuff come out, and it's very loud, like you can hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
My daughter's like, "What on earth is that?" So Agent Zero's in the house. Welcome, Comic Book Black Belt. Russ Leach.
What's up, bro?
Great to have you here today. It's great. It's a beautiful day. What a beautiful, beautiful day.
Yesterday
great day to
was
be alive.
great. It was 60 degrees up
Oh,
here.
it was, yeah. I
And
didn't wear a
today it's
jacket.
32, and I'm like, no. I have my shorts out. I'm not putting
You know
on
what?
that. I don't care.
I forgot
I didn't
about
have to shovel
Indiana.
snow today. So
This
Hey,
is
that's
true.
good. That's
This
good
is
news, yeah.
true.
It's like 55 out or something.
You
like
know,
that.
you know what? In a couple of years, guys, I'm gonna make JungleCon, and I'm gonna get you all down here at this time of the year. Dude, right now it's like sunny. It's like 80, 87.
I will. Yeah.
Sure.
See, here's my problem with like C2E2. It's in February
Yeah.
in Chicago. Like, no, thank you.
No.
That's freaking uphill. And
It is cool though, because I'm starting to know more and more people who are actually getting into booths at C2E2. So I mean,
what kind of booths?
They're doing comics, and like Jody McPhee actually has a booth at C2E2. I don't know how, but you know, I just think it's cool because more and more indie guys are getting recognized, and it's like the big guys are starting to pull out more and more out of the cons, and instead of the cons closing, they're becoming more and more independent. No one is talking about this, and it's like, hey, wait a second. You don't want to serve the community. It's almost like there's a whole bunch of great comic guys all around me in this room.
Everywhere, man. We are everywhere. We're like a fungus.
Yeah, we're like fungi.
Like fun guys. Welcome, Nicholas Gear. It's great to have you here this morning. The dad jokes are free and abundant.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
And smart dad jokes at that, sir.
Yeah, awesome. Grey Wolf's on Discord. Be sure to check out the Fund My Comic community Discord. We'll be talking about that here in a little bit, so you guys can.
I am so sorry. I'm the world's worst Discord guy. I don't.
Nerium is in the house. Welcome, Nerium. How you doing? What a fantastic guest last week.
Yeah,
fantastic. One of my favorite guests thus far.
So patient.
And we've had so many.
She was so patient with our insanity, and I am so sorry.
Nuts.
I think you came on the spiciest nerd bacon episode we have
it
had.
was.
Yeah, she was great.
You know, in quite a while.
Yeah, she's got a nice looking book.
Nick says Nicholas says we have lost Luke to the dark side. Yeah, there's
tried,
cookies.
Guys, I am doing everything.
The outfits are better. I'm telling you.
Just like hold Luke to the light, and then I'm like, don't try it. Don't try. I'm not underestimating your power. We can walk away.
Those outfits are better, dude.
Yeah. Everybody likes a redemption arc anyway.
Got a hot life. Don't do this, Luke.
Right? Yeah. Like, no, I'm not.
You were my brother.
You were supposed to bring balance to the force.
So I was gonna say, with the dark side, you got power and you got order. It's great.
Yeah. And yellow light. Don't forget yellow light.
Oh yeah, and plus,
and
like,
yellow.
you have a power outage and just pop some lightning in the bam.
And nasty complexion though. They got some.
Yeah,
they got some bad complexion.
Well, there's always a trade-off.
Yeah. Welcome, Glenn Fleming. It's nice to have you here today.
Get some Clearasil and some Visine. You'll be fine.
I have a complexion question here. If Edward James Olmos converted to the dark side, would you notice?
No.
Wow.
You look like a sponge.
Nicholas Gear says there's weather apps. Nothing else on the news is worthwhile. And I agree. Speaking of weather, what Nick was talking about is that Indiana weather, which is weather by Sybil.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's crazy around here.
You don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes, but my
Yeah, more outrage porn we're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
What else do we got in the chat here? Let's check it out. That looks about it. If you're here watching today, be sure to engage in the chat. It's a lot of fun. We've got just as much talent and beauty in our chat as we do on our panel. And the chat, you guys make the show. So we've got a lot to talk about today, and we're going to have a good time talking about it.
Yeah,
and,
what have you got on the menu, and how, like, on a scale of 1 to throwing things, how angry am I going to be?
Oh, and the Fujita
scale. Man, okay, so you're going to go the gamut today, because we're going to talk about the cost of free speech. Because
so that's
we have had, we have had a few. Well, recently, Randy brought to our attention, and I didn't think it was going to be news at all. I was like, yeah, big deal. Some comic strip guy said something stupid. The Dilbert guy. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. We're going to cover a couple of other news things that's going on. But we're going to end this thing out with a celebration of innovation. That's what we're going to talk about today. Because there's a guy, an article I read about a guy that actually is responsible for the direct market that, and this is going to be really up Aunt Randy's alley. he's going to be able to talk a lot about this. But he kind of had big ideas and big personality, and comics is kind of where it's at today because of that. And I got thinking that, every new step requires crazy innovation. And so we want to celebrate that today, celebrate the innovation that brought us to where we are, but think about some of the things that maybe people are doing that are going to bring us into kind of a new realm of innovative stuff. But before we do that, Randy, how was your week? You doing all right?
Yeah, just crazy. Yeah.
Boy, don't I know that.
Is it regular crazy or extra crispy crazy?
Not quite. Well, it's been extra crazy last few days, but I went from a show on the weekend to doing the podcast to getting a bunch of commercial work to, trying to get some comic book work done. And
awesome.
then I am here tomorrow. I'm recording 2 episodes, one Comics by Night and one Sunday Funny, so that I can do another show on the weekend. But that's not until after I do a quick sketch appearance at the local nature preserve. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Get to go there and draw some preservers for a while.
You're revitalizing that, aren't you?
Yeah, working on that this year. Doing another nature trail. So the nature trail they should have put up when COVID hit, which was really a lot of fun. That has the characters, a set of characters jumping through time and showing the history of the state. It's pretty cool, and our local area. Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially up here. I'm up here in Michigan, so most of it was covered by glaciers, and then when the glaciers pulled out, we got covered by trees, and then we got covered by the lumber industry. So
things always get discovered when you pull out.
Randy,
we can always count on Pedro, can't we?
He's just waiting his bottom right there. He's just like,
thought, okay, and I think it's a fun one to put in the back of your mind. You did a history in this style of the changes in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do, like, as a tongue-in-cheek thing, I don't know what you do with it, but the future of Michigan, and have, like, them jump forward and see the Terminators ransacking, and, like, everything being overgrown, and, like, Jack Cockroach. Have fun. I think you could have a lot of fun doing what Doctor Who was originally supposed to be.
Yeah.
And just, like, going forward to do crazy science stuff, or, just messing around.
After the total collapse and the EMP hits, then the world turns on its axis 90 degrees. It'll be fun.
Cool.
Yeah. We'll be around where Pedro is now.
Exactly. And I'll be frozen.
Yeah.
You'll be cold.
Hey, just let it go, Pedro.
It's cold as ice.
Cold as ice.
Just keep watching the polls, folks. They move and start running towards each other. That's anyway.
Yeah. We're in the middle of the equator here, dude. It's hot as balls all year long.
Motion detected at back door.
There's motion detected at my back door.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn that Alexa down because that's going to happen all day.
You're going to go have to
that way,
your back motion.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to the clip. Hold on.
Motion.
Hold on.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Let me give you what that's what she said.
That's what she said.
There's motion in my motion detected at my back door.
Oh,
sometimes you just got to. Welcome, File 13. It's nice to have File 13 in the house this morning.
Yeah, you heard the rooster, and that's my fault.
All right.
Well, that could be my fault too sometimes. So sometimes you might hear mine.
Okay, we're gonna compare. Okay, I'm not gonna do it.
All right. We're also gonna meet.
You want to have fun?
We're also gonna talk about the Mythicals today.
My roosters are all bantams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 4 roosters because 1 died, but
my condolences.
We're also going to get into the Mythicals today. You guys are not going to
excited for that. That is a
be disappointed.
Great comic and one of my favorite commercials. On I have to watch a lot of comic commercials, and some are good, and some kind of hurt my soul.
Yeah, that's why I made this one.
Yeah, thank you from the bottom of my black little heart. Thank you for making.
It's funny it's so funny to see people's reaction because like they'll start making fun of it in the beginning, and I'm just like, well, just wait.
Just wait.
And
I'm
then
making fun of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knew this was coming.
Right.
Here it goes. this is about 5 years too late.
We always talk about
yeah,
these
about 5 years late. Yeah.
So
the Beanie Babies of the 21st century.
this is brand new. This happened. This dropped at 3:19 a.m. Okay, so about 4:19 our time.
By
Let's
Milton
find
Grip,
something
too.
else to monetize, fellas.
The main man.
Trashing inventory.
Funko.
Well, why are they trashing it? Sell it for next to nothing. It's worth next to nothing. And
Maybe they're Captain Marvel Funkos. Like nobody wants that.
Funko.
I almost got in trouble for what I was going to say.
Quarter four to full.
You
and the
know,
full
I
year.
do sound like Jack Black when I sing. I agree. Yeah. When
a
I
little
first
while-
watched that, what's that? School of Rock.
Yeah.
School of Rock.
When I first watched that, I was like, "Oh my God, he does the thing that I do."
Yeah.
Because I would lead worship, and I would like when I'm teaching the band, I'm like, "I need you to do like a now over there, right there. Give me some of that. Give me some of that action." And and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he does my thing, so I got to stop now."
Yeah, dude. I mean, the thing's like there's always a guy like Jack Black in every band.
Dave in the house.
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Yeah, had a great conversation with him the other day.
Luke, do not surrender your things. I hate that. You can't say okay. 'cause
Surrender.
Made it something else, or
Right.
I've had people. You're not supposed to wear Hawaiian shirts because some political group is wearing. They can take a flying leap at a rolling donut, and
Really? There's a political group out there wearing Hawaiian shirts?
there was.
Wow. There's a political group for everything.
Like saying you can't go to Home Depot and buy tiki torches anymore.
Were they the Libertarians?
Hey, Zero, hop in the panel if you want to.
Yeah.
The
It's not like you don't know the way.
The Alohians.
This is the way. Oh, by the way, the new Mandalorian episode came out last night, and he went back to the place that.
I had to go shopping.
All right, yeah.
If I need to, give me some time. I'll walk away. Y'all can talk about it.
Well, all I'm going to say is they've canceled so many people that they don't have anyone left for the show.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's all the wonderful Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm.
Build up a great character.
Toronto was
cancel the action.
awesome, and I am so tired of people's off-screen BS. Like, even if it is BS, did
Right.
they do the job? When they were signed, did they play a character in a way that was entertaining? Yes. Are they a horrible human being potentially? Sure. I don't care.
I'm a huge fan of Gina Carano. I feel like she got a shaft in that. What she said was not necessarily out of line. She it may have not been a great
communicator.
Well,
I've
heard way worse from other sides of the aisle.
How does the
Like-
View
like
get away
what-
with what the View gets away with? But
Yeah,
they're gonna do that to Gina, like that's
there you
insane.
go.
Yeah.
Well,
See, Craig don't say much, but he
literally
pops in with
double
some.
standards. That's what it is. It's double standards.
Because
It certainly
all
is
they
double
have to
standards.
say is like, "That's not who I am anymore. I apologize." Nobody bats an eye.
Right. Like, yeah, what happened to growth?
If somebody on the other side, remotely on the other side of the aisle, says something, they have to excoriate every single person they talk to, apologize for everything in their life, and something that happened 20 years ago, and go on and trash every single person.
I have one. You make a incredibly valid point, Hojo. I am not diminishing it. But when Immortal Rising said, what he do to Gina, my thought was, you can try. I mean, man, if you manage to pull that, you have certainly earned it.
Anyway, Funko swung to a loss for quarter four in the full year. So here's the thing: we can say whatever we want on here, but we do have to live with the consequences.
Exactly.
Swing and a miss.
Wait, freedom of speech is not freedom of consequences?
No, not at all. We're going to talk about that today because we not only have a guy in our sphere-ish that stepped in it, he laid down and rolled around in that sucker.
Oh yeah.
I've purposely not looked into this story because I wanted to be surprised for today. I had no idea what happened. They just said, "You don't know," and I'm like,
gosh.
"I'm going on."
Boy, you
I
are
had no
you are
idea.
in for it. You are in
You
for
ever
it, my
see
friend.
somebody say something really dumb, and you're like, okay, they're taking a breath. They're going to wait. Maybe that came out wrong, and then they go, no, I'm doubling down all
that's
in.
that's what they meant.
Put my wedding ring on the table.
Like when Kanye said that he loved Hitler, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and you've got Alex Jones, like probably the world's
When
most...
Alex Jones is like, are you serious?
Like, really, you don't really mean that, right? Yeah,
Wait a
you don't really.
What are you doing? I mean, they're turning the frogs gay. I've seen the plans where he took down the towers.
I knew it.
I'm like a raccoon in a garage. Yeah. Mr. like a raccoon in a garage over there when he's like, dude, you probably should. Yeah. When he's like, I feel like I'm in an episode of The Twilight Zone. Kanye's crazier than I am. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what the hell went on. That guy,
Welcome, Finatra. Finatra says, never go full Alex Jones.
Never, man, never.
Yeah,
Never. Try your best not to go full Alex Jones.
I don't know. They've actually proven that they're turning the frogs gay, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it's not the facts, it's the delivery. I think that's the problem with Alex Jones.
That's it exactly. Yeah.
It's when you say it.
It's kind of the
with
same
foil
thing
on your head.
Yeah,
Not quite.
My problem is I took care of an older neighbor because he had no one, so I came in after he had some medical issues.
Sorry.
And he listened to Alex Jones on shortwave all the time. And if you think he was unhinged on the normal broadcast stuff, that was Alex Jones light. The
That's just like-
shortwave stuff.
Yeah, that's like his Slack channel.
Oh
like
my!
Diet Alex Jones. Yeah.
That was Alex Jones after dark, is what you got on
with the
shortwave.
tie off, and you're like, oh.
Man, that's not an Alex Jones I want to see.
No, it isn't. And I had to tell him, no, the black helicopters aren't flying sideways by the telephone poles to put, listening devices in the hard lines.
So, for Funko, things turned south hard in quarter three. That's what she said.
I love how everybody's just gone, Funko crashed. Yup.
As nearly
like water
as
is
inventory nearly doubled, margins declined, and the company experienced problems at its new distribution center. Company founder.
I got it written in the book right here.
You do?
This next paragraph is priceless.
My book right here. It says they were going down. Right there in the book.
Ding the bell. Hit the bell.
Hey, here, show them that book one more time, just in case they couldn't see it.
Yep.
Got it in there.
That's the one.
I knew it was there.
It's happening.
There's a song, I've got no bleeps to give, and I try not to swear to keep it. And it's just running loudly through my head as soon as you wave that book. Well done, Randy.
Yeah. Some things you live long enough, you see history runs in cycles.
Yes.
It does. And when Funko started up, you saw all the toys going around, and I'm like going, yep, there's Beanie Babies right there.
Right, yeah.
Beanie Babies. They're going to be real popular, but when they go, they're going to go, and they're going to go.
And they're going to go hard.
Go hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the Tamagotchi. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yep. But then again, I've been buying clearance Funko Pops for a while because I'll find one that's $3. If it makes me laugh, I buy it. Because anything that makes me laugh for $3 is an investment. It's totally worth it.
I sincerely wish all those guys like grabbed that money and made like a checking account in the Bahamas.
Yep.
Yeesh.
Right. Well, I have Funko Pops, but I have them because I like them.
Yeah.
Not because I want them for worth or value. I mean, their only worth is what I find in them. So
all the Funko Pops I own, I had given to me as gifts.
Yeah, most of them are.
Yeah.
Since I don't have any friends, I don't have a Funko Pop.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe if you were a little nicer, Pedro, you'd have a Funko Pop or two.
I'd like to launch. We need to talk about the new GoFundMe to get Pedro Ang some Funko Pops because he doesn't.
Please don't.
He's going to be getting them pretty cheap.
We only need to raise about $5 or $6.
Yeah, I would do like
to get him a full collection.
That damn shipping.
So check that damn
shit. No, it's $5 or $6, but we'll need $10,000 in shipping.
Yeah. See him on the show next week. He's got a whole wall of Funko Pops
right behind him. His mom's got to crawl over him.
No, my mom's in Washington.
Right? Did she ever hook up with Sugar Chris?
I have no idea, but she's in radio silence now. So I'm
look up Sugar Crisp and see if he can walk straight.
Well, I
don't know,
talked
man.
to
Like
him
that
Wednesday,
lady,
and he was very,
that,
very.
I've
just
seen.
woken up.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I've
Chris.
seen-
I don't know if Chris could handle your mom.
No, the thing is, I've seen Sugar Chris's frame. My mom's gonna break him in half. He doesn't know what he's getting himself into.
We shouldn't talk about our mothers in
Let's raise
such
a
ways.
toast to the valiant who go boldly.
Yeah, into the night, like a hero, like sick.
Here's the thing. I can imagine what Pedro's mom is like just by looking at what she raised.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think I have a pretty good idea. Listen to this quote. It was clear on our last earnings call that the business and our operations hit an inflection point.
Nobody was buying them.
Dinky.
Oh, that's a nice.
A combination of macro factors. Macro.
They suck. I'm gonna translate every time you say something. I'm gonna translate.
You gotta love these press releases sometimes for their
this is so like corporate
audacity
speak.
and humor. Yeah,
This is so corporate speak, like inflection point. You know, man, you're hitting the fan.
Inflection point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we suck now. It's just
Macro factors means
Tearing
nobody.
the house down.
nobody cares.
pretty much.
Yeah, it's not even micro factors; it's macro factors.
We
Macro.
suck the big one.
Everyone, big picture means it sucks.
It sucks.
Is it macro
Yeah.
the exact opposite of micro though?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had
in
big
this
factors
case,
that
what
they
they're
had hit an
talking about is-
inflection point.
Yeah, and they had a combination of
selling-
large factors.
We're not selling as many as we
Funko-specific
expected to sell.
issues.
That means we've already ran out of ideas. We Funkoed
Yeah.
everything we could possibly Funko.
Right, Funko-specific issues.
We're gonna start
We
doing every
Funko.
dead president dictator, and that's gonna work out well.
Actually, I would like a Pol Pot Funko Pop. That
Yeah.
would be awesome. Just
I mean,
like
honestly,
Pol Pot, Che
Put it in your
Guevara.
toilet.
who doesn't want a Kim
You know what,
Jong-un Funko Pop?
That could be
Genghis
a
Khan.
good Nerf gun target range. You know, the dictators of the era and Funko Pops. You just
Yeah, Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, let's get a
Stop
Castro.
motion animation movie with all of these and just destroy them.
Right. Okay.
Chairman Mao.
So these issues have disrupted our financial and operating performance to an unacceptable degree.
We're broke.
I would think so. They're broke.
No.
The medicine for the
broke.
company's situation will be bitter, including a 10% reduction in workforce, other cost cuts, and the destruction of 30 to 36 million worth of excess inventory.
Ow!
The destruction of.
Holy!
Dude, that's
wait.
This is like the Atari ET level of failure. Like, dude,
Yeah.
let's make a landfill with this.
Do you
This
hear
crater.
the
This is a
money
crater.
laundering?
We're all
of-
walking over
well,
each
we
other
know
this
it's
morning.
30 to
Yeah,
$36
guys. Yeah.
million excess inventory. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to eat that as a loss. It's like, yeah, but you spent about $15 in plastic for all of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what
no,
this means, though?
But only 10% reduction in workforce. That doesn't make sense with all the other stuff on the loss for the fourth
Well,
quarter.
not
Yeah,
if
what
they've
they're
already,
saying-
not if they've already quietly reduced their workforce.
That was
since
my
they've
next
gone
thought.
along. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
The thing here, though, that it's always the fun on these press releases is not what they say as much as what they don't say.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if they're saying they're destroying 30 to 36 million worth of excess inventory, they've already cleared out this inventory to as many wholesale rock bottom distributors that they possibly can. That means Ollie's has turned to them and said,
Bingo.
Yeah.
no thanks,
RJ's got it. Yeah.
not enough. And
Well, you know what?
Oddlots
No.
has said, no
I-
thanks, think we got
Don't
enough.
you
Guys,
populate
I
my
don't
alleys with
think
this.
they are. I think what's happened is, because you got to remember, you got to think of this as a manufactured scarcity business, because that's what Funko Pops are. They're manufactured scarcity. We're only going to make so many of them, so you're going to have to pay more to manipulate the market, just like De Beers and the Diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you have
If
to want
they
one.
release them to places like Ollie's, it will ruin their overall their overall bottom line on anything that does, if they intend to stay in business. So they have to destroy it to maintain the scarcity, or else people will go, well, we'll just wait for it to hit Ollie's and buy it a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think the Funko Pop things that didn't need to be Funko Pop
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Walmart is flooded with ones for Wakanda Forever, and they still have ones from Raya: The Last Dragon. That was a movie that went well.
Yeah, I see a bunch of Wakanda Forever at like Kohl's.
Wakanda Fever.
They just had a whole series of Shang-Chi's run through Ollie's. So yeah.
Yeah. So they are.
And what this doesn't say is.
Yeah.
This doesn't say is what pops is it? Is it like all of them? How long have they been accumulating? You know, is this 3 years of accumulation? You know, there's a lot more questions
why
to ask
do they have that
about
much
this.
inventory on hand?
Yeah, that's insane.
Because nobody's buying it. Like, dude, like if you come out like with a Yahoo Serious Funko Pop, who's gonna get that? You know, and they've been doing that because they ran out of like cool characters to Funko Pop.
Did you say Yahoo Serious, the guy from Young Einstein?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they made a Funko Pop of that.
They made
if they made that, I would buy that one.
Have they been hiding these things in one of their closets, like a "Stay Woke" T-shirt? You know?
No, it's probably an incredibly large warehouse somewhere.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean,
maybe
like
multiple.
Indiana Jones size warehouse.
Warehouse 13.
Wait, let's not talk about Warehouse 13 too much with me in the chat. Make assumptions, and then I got to go get my purple gloves and solve some problems.
Dawn makes a great point. Giving them to Ollie's makes them more worthless. So I think you're right. You've got to destroy these things.
Yeah, but they're manufactured the same way that Marvel and DC has been manufacturing their trade paperbacks. They do it all overseas, and larger bulk means a lower per unit cost. So it's almost as cheap for them to print 10,000 as it is to print 5,000. So they print 10,000 and just warehouse the other 5,000 they haven't sold yet.
So the question is,
that is a $64 million drop.
Yeah.
In Q4, because I was doing the arithmetic. Yes, I used a calculator. Come at me, but
seriously, none of us would come at you for using a calculator. Right? Yeah. So check this out: $46.7 million loss. A year prior, they had a $17.4 million profit.
You know what? They have to be taking hits for all the licensing fees they got to be paying though. They've got to be just getting nailed.
They're bleeding. Yeah, they're bleeding there.
Yep.
They're hemorrhaging. So let's talk about this though. Let's move on to something a little nicer.
Well, you'll hear in the near before you jump the article.
Go ahead,
Luke. I thought that was the My Pillow guy for a second.
I thought he was a Russian.
Go ahead, Randy.
I thought they found that guy in Argentina. Anyway.
Yeah, dude.
He grew out the stash.
Anyway. Or Bariloche. Any of the two.
His hippos are still running around.
Go ahead, Randy. Guys, stop talking over everybody.
The big 2 points before we jump articles that I want to make is one, they only announced a 10% layoff. They might have already been laying off a lot of people since the first of the year. We have no idea. And if they announce another big percentage layoff, you know that they're in just almost beyond hope. The second point I want to make is this is on ICV2. This is the website that the retailers have relied on for 20, 30 years to let them know what's going on in the larger markets. There are so many comic retailers out there that have invested in Funkos. There's entire walls and displays, and you walk into almost any comic shop, there's a huge amount of Funkos. That material is already paid for by the retailer and is just gonna sit there until they blow it out at next to nothing. They're taking an even larger hit. So in the long run, what this article from ICV Squared is saying is, hey, retailers, you're taking it again. You're going to be bending over and grabbing your ankles because this part of your business is no longer going to be remotely viable.
Well, let me ask this to all the panel. How many of your local comic book shops have made more room for Funko Pops than for comics?
Thankfully,
So,
none.
starting with comic book shop, I don't know. I haven't been in there since 2018. I'm not welcome there, but I can say GameStop. At least, if you go into GameStop in the mall, a third of that maybe is actually video games. A third of that is Funko Pops. And a third of that's
GameStops too.
others.
Yep, that's an
Yeah.
entirely large chain that is now literally having a large percentage of their business going to bottom right out real fast.
Yeah,
Well, and see
We're
what
talking
this is
major
telling,
crater.
What this is telling me is, oh, cool! I might see something I like cheap now. You know what I mean?
Can finally afford it.
For a limited
Yeah,
time.
I'm sorry. You know, that's I'm the guy who buys my Christmas decorations for next year after Christmas this year, and
Hey, that's clever.
Oh, my wife does that every year.
But
Nothing
you
wrong
know,
with that.
Yeah, but
you know, comics are doing great. It's raining money.
yeah, but
raining money, yeah.
let's talk about Martin Bormann here. Who's this guy?
This
That's
guy,
not,
okay,
that's
so
not Borman.
yeah, that's the new Hercule Poirot. That's what it is. Okay.
yeah.
Sorry that I have to do it.
So Oni makes another hire here, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Former
so-
Diamond. That
former Diamond VP.
Yeah.
Oh,
He used to own a bike factory that made ammunition for the Fourth Reich, but now he's the only.
This might not be as good a hire as the other two, as the two we
Paints
talked
and
about last
watercolors.
week. Yeah, but he's been hired. Let me see. So he has been hired to do
Damage control.
Well, kind of.
someone's
So,
got to get that toilet.
He is their publishing consultant.
Okay.
I don't know what a publishing consultant does,
Yeah.
I
but
wish.
he is.
I'm going to
a
tell you
publishing
how to
consultant.
strong arm consumers. That's what I'm going to tell you how to
His
do.
job is don't do that.
Yeah.
Wish I was a large company's publishing consultant. They wouldn't.
Well-
I
Is
wouldn't
this-
last a week though.
Probably not.
Can I
Is this
fire
you've got a
everybody?
whole bunch of connections? You've got a whole bunch of connections in your Rolodex, and we want access to your Rolodex.
That's exactly what this is. But
Who uses a Rolodex?
This guy. I mean, look at him.
The government to hack their.
You look at that face and you tell me he doesn't use a Rolodex.
Yeah, he would be like, Esther,
This
send
guy
a
uses
telegram
Rolodex.
to DC right now.
This guy, this beautiful old man and his magic Rolodex. I'm telling you, he's got connections. He was the vice president of Diamond.
That is not a
I
flattering
googled
picture.
what a publishing
Not at
consultant
all.
does.
With that face, that guy has buddies in his backyard. Sorry, like they chose the wrong picture.
That's a terrible picture of him. Yeah.
Man, I now want to watch The Burbs. Dang it!
Can I comment real quick about the
Yes,
Funko
please.
Pop
Oh, I didn't know he was
situation?
here.
Do it.
Yeah.
Hey, Hojo.
Hey, I can
Here,
see
I'm-
black right now.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let me. I'll just for a sec. Hey, everybody. My office is a wreck, and I don't want to be rude, but I've got to clean it up as I listen to you guys, and chime in here and there. So with the Funko Pops, I'm sure Luke can attest to this, and also Randy to some extent. There's this shyster con guy who puts on these conventions, this convention circuit around Tennessee and Kentucky, North Carolina, and different places. I'm not going to call him out specifically, but I'm just going to tell you that Luke and I both attended 2 of these cons, and they were cons because when they're billed as comic conventions, but when you get there, there's like virtually no comic books. Everything is either handmade tchotchkes, actual like novel writers, and then these just like booths upon booths of nothing but pop figures. And it was just absolutely disheartening. Nobody wanted to buy anything because everybody was just there for the cosplay contest, and so many of them weren't even cosplayers; they were just Halloween, Halloween costume wearers.
No.
So, it was a massive disappointment. But definitely, like the pop figures, if they're everywhere, then they're nowhere. If that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway,
When they're so prevalent, each one's $15, right?
yeah,
It's like, well, I could just take $15 and just lay it on my shelf back there.
I mean, I don't like the
Be just
I
as
don't like
nice.
I don't like their beady little eyes or their flapping heads either. So that's just me.
That's just me. I think they're lame.
Yeah.
Like every Funko Pop I've ever gotten, like somebody got me the Kiss Funko Pops, and then I think like an Incredible Hulk, like the Gray Hulk or something. And every single time my reaction was the same. I was like, "Cool, thanks."
Welcome, Robert Smothers. But I'm going to get to your comment when we get to the article about Scott Adams, because when we talk about this freedom of speech thing, let's be honest, there are other factors that go into what it costs for when you say things.
Yep.
Yeah. Your speech is a little more free for some people than it is others. We'll get into that.
Depending on what you say.
Depending on what you say.
Freedom of speech is free, but the repercussions from saying
that logic,
maybe not so free.
into that conversation, please.
I'm gonna refrain from saying anything on that
I'm gonna
topic.
put the please don't get me fired from future jobs on this one.
Right, yeah.
Ahead of time.
I mean, that's what we're all trying to not do, right? Yeah. So,
New Oni Forge president and publisher Hunter Goranson.
Now they say this is the company rebuilds after the layoffs, but they're not. They conveniently didn't want to talk about what the layoffs were about, and it was about that lawsuit. That we talked about last. Was that last week or the week before?
Yeah, their press release. They were right. They had taken a hard financial hit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They really did.
They probably still are, actually.
Yeah, they probably still are. And so, I mean, I don't know what a publishing consultant is, but it's so we know that lawsuit was thrown out for this reason, primarily because they didn't include everyone that should have been in that chain in that lawsuit. They just included the publisher. They said, no, you should include us. You should include the creator. You should include the distributor. You should include the stores that bought it. And that wound up being the precedent for why it got dismissed. And then, which then caused a chain reaction of other crazy lawsuits and people going after basically the end user, primarily librarians, because they can't go after store owners, So all of that craziness that's been going on obviously caused some problems. So I'm betting that his role is going to be in kind of the context to make sure something like that also never happens again.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the thing, like that never happens again.
Well, also, this is a really intelligent move, bringing him in because of his experience. They go through in the article and let you know, this is the guy who, along with his brother Steve, actually started Pacific Comics. And if you're not aware of Pacific Comics, you should be, because it's really the start of the alternative independent movement, of the alternative mainstream movement, I should say. Pacific Comics, First Comics, Eclipse Comics used to be the big three.
Oh, I've heard of Eclipse. Yeah, I've heard of Eclipse.
Yeah, Eclipse.
But him and his brother started Pacific Comics. They were the ones that convinced Jack Kirby that he could go off and become an independent creator and do Captain Victory.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. But the thing is, like, dude, seeing his career is impressive. But he's a marketing consultant, and he chose that picture for the article.
Maybe he didn't choose it.
Again, that's only marketing there that's chosen that. They probably grabbed whatever they could find.
It could be ICV too. I mean, honhonestly.
He did not send in for this.
V2 also, absolutely.
Yeah, he didn't send in for this. I'm sure he's probably like, his wife is probably like, that's the picture they chose? Come on.
She's like,
Looks like when he moved from Bavaria in 1947, he started the first. She's like, no, dude, no.
No,
but if you've got money and you want a presence in the independent market, in the direct market, if you want a name that most of the retailers, not all the retailers, most of the retailers are going to know and have their opinion or somewhat good respect on, they couldn't get any better than this.
Oh, cool.
But they have to do. They had to do something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
so another good hire from Oni.
Yeah.
They're correcting. They're correcting the shit.
They are doing their best to correct it. They need to be congratulated for that.
Yeah, and they
made a mistake. I don't think they completely owned up to it, in my opinion.
No,
they made a serious mistake. They should have owned up to it more. But they did go through and fire the people responsible and it didn't quite slap them on the wrist even.
Rooster
but,
recruits.
but now they're course correcting by trying to hire incredibly competent people. We had that article last week, didn't we? Where Oni had gone through and hired a few other people with impressive resumes. If you're going to go out and be a serious mark in this business, you have to go out and find people like that in order to pull you out of the fire, literally.
Yeah, you really do, and they are really stepping up. Yeah. So I hope good things for Oni Press. I do.
I think, and they're not dumb. Like they're watching, like they're smelling the blood in the water. Like DC and Marvel are down. Like this is our time. So
yeah, I mean, I'll go after stupidity, but I also want to celebrate smart moves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's commendable because you can realize that you're not the smartest person, and you surround yourself with even smarter people. And look, I can't do all of this, but I'm going to hire somebody that's really good at that.
Exactly.
That's smart business.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, that's how these mega corporations and businesses got built. When you had somebody that realized, like, I can't do that, but I know somebody who can, and they can do it well.
It's not even like I can't do that. It's like I try to do it and I got egg on my face.
It should be common sense.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get egg on your face too.
Yeah. And a lot of people rely too much on pride, and they're like, I can fix it. I can do it. I can. Yeah.
Well, the truth is, in any business venture, failure is more likely.
Yes.
Than not. Like, that's what we need to understand. Like, the light bulb, how many attempts? 300
and then he bought it.
Yeah.
And then he bought it.
No, I mean, God's honest. You look at when you get into the real industry, he literally bought it, and he bought the patent.
Yeah.
So
it's like, oh, somebody else already did it.
So
Edison's light bulb is actually a white label light bulb.
Yeah, he discovered. He always told people he discovered X amount of ways not to make it.
Yes, and then he bought it from the guy who figured it out.
Yeah, he discovered the right way.
He was a project manager.
Right, but that's my point. It's failure is very likely whenever you're trying to innovate and do new things, right? So even if you're not, if you're just trying to hit status quo, there's a good chance that your shop may lose. I mean, Randy and I are famously part of a deal that was turned out to be infamously a part of a fiasco.
Luke, but I mean, there are some things you should be able to speak from a lot of experience on. You're on 3 or 4 major grifts that you've encountered trying to do what you do by my last.
Well, yeah, I don't know that they're all major grifts. I mean, but you run into people that bite off more than they can chew.
You can't be an entrepreneur without suffering losses and taking some stumbles. That's the big problem. The problem is also in this business, there's so many wackadoos in this industry that it's hard to shift the wheat from the chaff.
The only way to do it is to test them.
Got egg in my face this morning.
Hey, that's what I've done in every business deal you've seen me do. I always do a test or two.
You got to test them out.
Dude, that rooster is delivering a speech. I'm gonna have to kill him.
You know what? Rooster might be a good person to run against Broken Vacuum in 2024.
He's out there campaigning.
Broken Vacuum. Finally, the debate we want to see.
A version of Daphne Lage's parrot.
Right.
Cock-a-doodle doo-wop.
Yeah. So, but the point I was trying to make was, so we're infamously a part of this scam that turned out, but it was one of those things that, look, if it was real, then we had to go off the information that we had. We thought it was a good deal. Like, if it was real, there was still risk involved. Like, we didn't think that it was a risk-free opportunity. If it was real, we'd be sitting in a much different place right now today.
Yeah.
Right. And if it was real and we had not attempted to do it, we would be regretting our decisions.
Yeah.
I don't regret taking the leap. I don't regret, because I took a leap with an opportunity that, man, if this works, it's going to be big. You don't make the big moves without taking the big leaps. You don't get there without that. You never get anywhere awesome without taking a chance. And I'll be honest with you, the journey's been real fun. It's a hell of a story to tell. So failure is an option with these things, and
the big kicker with that though is if had certain parties just been honest and said, "Hey, this isn't going to happen," could have saved a whole lot of people a lot of fucking aggravation and time and effort. And when people are just honest with each other and saying, "Hey, this is what's really going on," makes life better for everybody.
that's what it comes down to: honest communication.
And like JD Calderon pointed out, we got lucky because this guy wanted us to go for 3 issues and we only printed 1.
Yeah.
He wanted us to print 3 months in advance.
Yeah, we were being very conservative.
And JD was smart enough to start it or to stop it after the first.
Yeah. Well, when you don't see what you need to see to verify, trust but verify. That's been my motto my whole life. And so I trust but verify everything. Guys, look at this. So I'm real excited because I'm a, child of these. I love the more independent books from back in the 80s and 90s. Dog Boy. They're re-releasing Dog Boy. Randy should know this one.
That's a deep cut for a lot of people.
It's a real deep cut for a lot of people. How exciting that comic book readers, new ones, are going to be able to enjoy Dog Boy. How cool is that?
He's one of the underground. I would consider him to be close to underground characters that nobody. That has been left out over time.
Well, you had just mentioned the reason why I thought it was ironic is that you had just mentioned Pacific Comics.
And Dave Scroggy, Dave Scroggy was part of Pacific. Yeah,
you mentioned Jack Kirby,
right there. So there you go. I mean, how cool is that? We're starting to see this stuff come back. I find comics has a way. Comics has a way. And we're going to talk about that a little bit too. But what I want to do is I want to talk about this article that Randy shared with me.
Yeah, before we go there's a whole era in comics that Dog Boy was a part of from the 70s through probably the early 90s that were mostly black and white books, where there was a lot of really top-notch material in there. And a lot of these guys got caught like Arrow Comics did in the black and white bust and ended up going off in other directions and doing a lot of other different things. But we're doing incredibly solid product. Nobody talks about Flaming Carrot hardly anymore. Nobody talks about Reed Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman, Zippy the Pinhead. Hardly gets mentioned anymore anywhere, let alone the Arrow comic stuff for Troll Lords or Fish Bleeds. But there's some really great stuff out there if you go look.
And I think it's awesome that, we're looking now at an era where Arrow Comics is back. Yeah. Spank is back. You're going to see fresh stuff. You're going to see, this is right now. I think they're calling it the Iron Age of comics. I don't know that I like that, but it's definitely a new renaissance of comics. Yep. And I'm loving it, man. There's just so many good things about comic books right now. Now,
everybody wants to throw labels around, just like they want to throw stereotypes around.
I mean, I don't mind the moniker Iron Age. It reminds me of the Celts, and
Kayfabe kept calling different an era of the black and white era the outlaw comics, and I didn't see that happen. It's a bunch of great independent creators. I never considered ourselves outlaws.
Well, I like to consider it being the Chrome Age, but that's just me.
That's just you.
Right, yeah.
That's always promote.
I don't know.
That's boring.
Shiny. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's shiny. Yeah, for all you brown coats and smugglers out there, Firefly fans. It's shiny.
Yeah, in Panama, Chrome is slang for fellatio. So I don't know.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, it is.
But great, Pedro.
That goes back to that trailer hitch anatomy, doesn't or analogy, doesn't it?
The whole
no.
Just reached down and pulled the rug right from under.
Justin, go to Panama for a week and tell people about this. Like, you want some Chrome?
There's some Chrome. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it's offered. Hey.
Yes, go up and ask every single person you meet.
Yeah.
You want some Chrome?
Want some Chrome? Are you chroming? Are you open for
chroming? Are you chroming?
Yeah.
Wow, we just lost somebody.
Oh my gosh.
Craig.
You didn't like the Chrome?
Pedro.
I think it was
Hey,
Craig.
and that's what Tropical Magic
we
is
lost
all
Craig.
about.
way up north.
Craig's internet always gives him a little bit of a.
They probably slammed him because we were mentioning chroming.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
Not that kind of show, guys. Not that kind of show.
This is going to be one of those. There are two things I'm going to butt in and say for a second, because I have this crazy idea of speaking on a show I'm on. One, back to the business thing. Some of y'all need to learn to cut when it's not profitable and walk away. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do in a creative field is when you look at the real numbers, whether you love it or not, sometimes you have to cut and walk away. Not saying not do it anymore, not saying give it up, but sometimes you just got to cut and go, look, the math isn't there.
Right.
Take a breather.
And I talk to people who are like, I'm not making enough to pay my bills and this, that, and other. It's like, then you got to do something else.
Yeah, dude.
And then, that's the capitalism. Now, you try to do the part you love, and you never stop it. You never stop the hobby side.
Yeah.
Because, especially in this digital era, maybe it's not time for, X comic isn't doing well because it reflects something a little too topical. You take that story, you put it aside, you save it. You can still keep working on it, and then when maybe that's not going to be a problem, you bring it out and go, look, you haven't seen this.
Dude, look, as an illustrator, at least I can't speak for writers. But as an illustrator, there's always jobs to do because people always need illustration.
Yeah.
Even in this AI era. So saying like I can't pay my bills, it's just like, dude, you just want to do what you want, which is commendable. But if you want to pay the bills, like you got to be ready to draw those diapers and those tools.
Yeah, you gotta do it. So I want to say this. Look, you can eke by doing what you don't love to do, or you can eke by doing what you do love to do.
Exactly.
That's true. No, that's true. It's the balance of you got to pay your dues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know when the 6-8 foot tall critter holds you up against the head and asks you, Jack, have you paid your dues? You got to be able to look him in the eye and say the check is in the mail.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes you have to write books or do illustrations that aren't part of your jam. You got to make a game that you wouldn't be that is not where you want to be.
Sometimes you don't get to work on your thing. You got to work on someone else's thing.
And sometimes the world isn't ready for your thing, or your version of your thing isn't ready. Like
or your thing needs work. That's the thing. Like some people don't have the nous to know that they're not there yet.
Yeah.
They just go out right away. It's like, dude, like you need to study more, or dude, check your designs. But it's really hard for somebody else to tell you that. You have to be convinced, like, hey, I need to
you really
more.
do.
Yeah,
and that's a hard.
You got to pull the ego out of it, and it's hard.
Yeah, you got to understand your work. So let's talk about this article that Randy shared. So at first, I didn't think it was going to be much of a news thing, right?
Well, there's been a lot more happen since this article broke.
There has, and I'm going to let you help fill in on some of those things. So the Oregonian will no longer publish the long-running Dilbert comic book. Comic strip.
Comic strip. Yeah.
Comic strip. I'm just pre-programmed to say comic book. So Scott Adams does this YouTube thing called Real Coffee, right, where he just kind of talks, I guess, is what I get. Well, at first glance, when I read this article, it's full of double speak.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just say, hey, Adams said some racist stuff that he shouldn't have said, so we're no longer going to publish him. It goes into like some weird stuff that well, we've been having problems with him for a while because he's leaning a little too political and this or that, and it just, when I read it, I'm like, there's other stuff going on here.
The article is also
that's lawyer prevention. You have to be so careful with how you phrase when you fire somebody popular.
No, not these papers. That's their right to drop any syndicated.
No. They legally have the right to. But in the court of public opinion, if it's not handled right, it can blow up in your face.
Could be a defamation.
The thing with the press release from the Oregonian to start with was written by one of their editors, and it's just like the press releases from Funko and the press releases from Oni. Once you read it and read into it, her the logic that was used is completely wrong and
Right.
very faulty. The excuses that they used are horrible, but they're allowed to drop and gain strips as they please, and it's up to the readers to either get mad or not get mad or whatever. And granted, they put this press release out so everybody wouldn't get mad. This is why we dropped. If you like Dilbert, this is what the guy said, and we're saying icky, and we're stopping its strip.
Right.
But the thing is the syndicate has dropped this strip. All of the newspapers after the Cleveland Plain Dealer decided to drop the strip. Everybody else pretty much followed suit. And the syndicate said, "Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. We're completely done."
Good.
So here's the thing. I've found his. I have to. It's going to be a clip that I found from a Young Turks because I didn't find didn't have time to research the original.
That clip is terrible. You don't have to run that. I mean, the Turks take what he says completely out of context.
We're not going to run. We're not going to run what they say. We're not going to run what they say. I'm only showing what he says.
All right.
He said.
I'm showing his clip.
Yeah.
This is what he.
Luke, I'm going to say I don't think running this clip is actually necessary because the verbiage of it was in the text.
Well, we haven't talked about the verbiage yet, and it is necessary. Don't worry about it. The way this is, because what we're looking at here, this is the cost of free speech. This guy, we have the ability to go and say anything that we want to, right?
Yep.
And this is what happens when you get so comfortable saying things. Now, there are times when you say things and it matters. Like, let's think about, there are so many awesome opportunities and events where people have opened their mouth. And there's a difference between cancel culture and consequences, right? So you can say what you want, but there's a consequence to those things. This guy is notorious for being kind of an idiot, right, Randy?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This guy is notorious for being an idiot. There is no reason to double talk any reason why, we're not going to run his stuff anymore. Because on the whole, the stuff he says is just ridiculous. So, number one, he is using an article by a extremely right-wing group that literally just tries to race bait people, right? Like they're trying to cause division, okay? Which we talked earlier about the news and what we ingest, okay? You want to get the true story, the whole story. And when you just watch CNN all the time, you're only going to get their spin on things. Because the news never really reports the news. They inform.
Anymore, it's any media outlet is going to walk in, or even these so-called media outlets like Young Turks thinks that they are. They're as accurate as Alex Jones, quite frankly.
Yep.
And probably less accurate.
Well, that's effective, yeah.
Well, I mean, media nowadays is paid to steer the ship. I mean, that's why you have all these investigations right now looking at what Twitter's doing and Google's doing and these big social media platforms putting their fingers on the scale and how no one's apologizing, but we go through all the things that have happened the past 3 years and how they went from saying things were extremist views to it actually being that was the truth. Actually, that's exactly what went down.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, Elon even said, he goes, all of the conspiracy theories about Twitter turned out to be mostly true.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That was embarrassing,
right? Yeah, that's embarrassing. But I don't want to comment. I don't want to comment on this guy's words without knowing his words. We can speculate all day what he says, but this is what got him in trouble. Okay, this is what caused him to lose his job. Like he's done. He's done. Good. In many cases, like good. It's like Kanye's done. Good. You kind of earned that.
There's also
It's
a
like
lesson
good-
to be learned here. Sorry, there's a
Yes.
lesson to be learned here for people like Kanye and this guy. Always have a wingman. Always go
Right.
everywhere with a wingman.
Have a Nick.
Someone there who's going to
Somebody to like kick
say,
you in the leg, like,
man,
man,
the angel or the devil.
Yeah.
Like, do you really want to go down this road where you're
Yeah.
I don't want to go
right
down
now?
that road.
His problem is he's on camera by himself, and he doesn't have any other opinion but the thoughts in his head. And so as he's working out these thoughts and ideas, he's doing it privately in his room, in his head, right? Out loud, but he's doing it in this forum where millions of people can view it. And free speech is great, but there's a price. This guy is a testament to what to learn from. Check this out.
There's a lot of my life resources in helping Black Americans. So much so that I started identifying as Black.
So first,
What?
Yeah, the fuck.
what?
Pardon my language. I don't know.
Like what?
But that's
Okay.
Is that part a joke?
No.
This is like
No.
Olazol.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like, dude, what are you saying? And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, at this point, if he would have had someone in the room with him, they'd have been like, hey,
I've eaten a lot of bacon, but I don't call myself a pig.
right. Now, I don't
just so you
understand.
know what's
If you called
coming.
yourself a pig, you'd be a cannibal.
Right, yeah.
This is just the beginning.
Wait,
You're gonna keep doing this. Like, that's just the first bit of it. He goes down that
First
hole.
salvo.
And commits.
Like I'm saying,
he
like,
commits.
I've not heard.
You have
any
to
of this.
you have to understand the spin that's running in the media right now. It literally scratches the surface, and
I can
it's the
only imagine.
scratch that makes people mad that they're
Right.
capitalizing on.
Yes,
That's it,
what
yeah.
it is. This
Yeah.
guy has done a comic strip for decades. That's stale. It's the humor in it, in my opinion, has always been incredibly dry and very, very satirical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
never
that's
liked
how
Gilbert.
this guy's brain works. He's not stupid and he's not uneducated. He comes from a very big set of informed opinions. It's just that when it comes to expressing himself, he normally expresses himself in a 4-panel layout.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Some
now
people
that
are
he's
very
got
well
a-
suited for that.
Now that he's got a forum like this, there's when he expresses himself without context or without explaining himself properly,
Right.
the media is gonna take that and they're gonna scratch it and they're gonna capitalize as much as they possibly can on that scratch if they think it's gonna piss people off. And if you listen to this clip without knowing that he is an educated individual who has informed opinions, who has all of his life been incredibly satirical and very dry in humor, you would be pissed off.
Right. Yeah.
You're expected to be pissed off. That's why the Young Turks is running this clip.
Oh, they love that. There's a lot of outrage farming
I will
for
say
this.
the Young Turks feed off of outrage at anybody. It's the one thing is it seems they're equal opportunity d-bags. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that if a Democrat does something dumb that they think they can run on, they'll
They just want to make people mad.
A
Yeah.
Republican, they just want to keep people mad.
There's so much
the
manu-
way to reach neutrality, like that, the equal opportunity a-hole. But but what he says in this interview, not interview, this rant almost.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a rant. It's just a.
It is a
going
rant,
in
yes.
Is look at the way he delivers it, the way he's working it out. He is voicing his actual opinions on the matter.
Yeah.
And
oh no, he is expressing
being
an opinion,
satirical, though.
absolutely. But yes,
no, I do not believe
He's not being serious. He's
Yeah.
not being
I believe
serious,
he's
though.
being.
That's what I thought. I'm like, yeah, surely he can't be serious.
No, he's do not confuse bizarre beliefs with humor. every tell on his face, every tick is he truly believes what he's saying. If you watch it from a deception analysis standpoint, there is no lie.
I do agree with you, Nick.
Oh, no,
I
he's
think
not
that
lying.
he.
No.
Play it from the beginning. Play it from the top. I want to
Yeah.
see it.
Okay. So yeah,
Hey,
he,
guys,
he-
I'm going to reserve the time to say something at the end of everything. So
That's
okay.
fine.
Yeah,
Sure. I'll back him up just a little bit here.
Yeah. Oh God.
I don't want to get the Turks piece in
Yeah,
there.
we're trying to avoid them.
Trying to avoid them. So.
I'd like to focus a lot of my life resources in helping Black Americans. So much so that I started identifying as Black to just be on the team I was helping. But it turns out that nearly half of that team doesn't think I'm okay to be white, which is, of course, why I identified as Black, so I could be on the winning team for a while. But I have to say, this is the first political poll that ever changed my activities. I don't know that that's ever happened before. You know, normally you see a poll, you just look at it, you go, whatever. Yeah, oh, this is interesting what other people think. But as of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member of a hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group. So if you know, nearly half of all Blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with
them.
Yes, Luke?
Boy, that's hard to walk away from.
Yeah. He continues.
In
Let's-
that clip, that's despicable.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the context of that clip.
In the context of that clip, but these are professional propagandists here.
Right.
They know how to take this stuff and bend it
Yeah.
to whatever, because they start off going,
That-
"This guy is great." This guy
That's
does
why
so
I'm
much stuff."
that's why I'm
Listen to this
not
clip.
listening to
This
what they
guy's
say.
Despicable. Yeah.
That's why
Look,
here we're just showing his words, and then we are discussing kind of our response to this. Let's go ahead and watch what else he says.
The best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from Black people. Just get the away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed.
Well, this isn't helping, pal.
This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, you know, I have a very low Black population.
All right.
Oh my God!
Yeah. So here's the deal with Dilbert. Okay, number one, Dilbert is not funny. I have never found that that comic strip funny. He, at one point, you can tell he's trying to be funny. I think his whole identify as Black was to set up a joke that was not funny. Okay. But he's very sincere here.
No.
He's very sincere when he believes that there's no way to fix the race relations in America. The poll was, do you believe it's okay to be white? And 26% said no, right? And 21% was undecided on that answer. That's where he's getting almost half of Black Americans don't think it's okay for him to be white. And that poll was even taken out of context. Because there is a Reddit where...
reflected.
What's that?
The poll itself is meant to shape a narrative and an opinion rather than reflect public opinion.
Yeah, this
Right.
that
Why
poll
release
is
the poll in
clear
the first place? It's
statistical
gaslighting at the
manipulation.
highest degree.
Yep.
It's just putting Black people hate white people. What
It is
a lot of people thinking.
The poll is to do that. You don't know who they polled or how many they polled or in what context the question was even asked. Okay? So you have to take all those things into effect. but it has, because he's so educated, because he tries to be informed, he's gotten all of this information, and he hasn't ran it through filter, apparently. But this has affected him.
It's quite obvious.
Yeah,
That's-
this one affected
What
him.
happens when someone is educated in the modern style, where they
Right.
learn to ingest information and process it, but not critically analyze it as it comes in.
The information.
Welcome,
So-
channel member Genko.
The
Nice to have you back
believability in
today.
the source. Yeah, Genko.
Yeah, fear never really makes a good judgment. A good judgment.
Dude,
No,
I
it does
don't know.
not.
I don't know. You know what, guys? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
I don't really blame him.
No.
No, I'm sad for him.
And from this standpoint, this is a guy who you can tell he suffers from Asperger's. No, he is
Probably.
autistic. He's an autistic guy.
Probably.
And what really pisses me off is the poll. The poll is reductive.
Yeah,
it is. Yep.
In a sense, because maybe 50% of the black people you poll don't like white people. That might be a reality, right?
Yeah.
It's possible. Anybody can be racist. I'm an individual. I have preferences. I have things that I dislike.
Right.
Yeah.
When people treat me as a group, and it could be anything, like, hey, you like James Brown. Well, I happen to love James Brown, but I don't like James Brown because I'm black. I just because he makes great music. So
Right, I love James Brown too.
All these discussions we're having right now about black people and white people, dude. I see Nick, I see Luke, I see Randy, I see Justin, I see Hojo, I see Matt Ruth. I see people.
Well,
There's
Hojo's
a lot of
not
black
white.
people I don't like. This is a stupid discussion.
Yes.
People don't know this. Hojo's not white. Can
No.
I out you, Hojo?
Yeah.
He's
Bring
Native
him out.
American.
I'm part Native American. Like, I mean,
Part
like,
Native American.
Oh my
like
God.
4 generations removed. Like,
Just like any black
just
lady
far
I
enough
met.
away not to make any casino money.
Just like any black
That's
lady
gotta
I
be
meet.
aggravating.
Like,
I mean, I've seen pictures, but no.
Shut up.
I have more Native American DNA in my toe clippings than Elizabeth Warren has in her whole body.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Me too.
And that's the thing.
Wow.
Like, I don't know. Like,
I love this
think-
panel.
I swap that out. This was the clean version.
Dude,
It
and
wasn't-
this
it's originally not toneaguys.
This
Not normally toenails.
You guys-
Bring in the truth
You're
once again.
former military.
Give
I
me a
fully
second.
understand that's a clean version.
Guys, please
Yeah.
give me a second. I have to bring this point out. This attitude, I blame black leadership, and I mean NAACP. I mean Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
I mean all
Yeah.
those guys.
Oh,
They're
God.
radicalizing the black population who is not informed.
Yeah,
They're
right.
taking their money. They're taking
Yeah.
their money. They're bleeding
Exactly.
these people dry.
The second you start reading, these guys are full of
Oh yeah.
BS.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like they and in colleges, people go down and they're like, you're a victim. And I'm coming with this concept with like the victim aggressor. Because I'm seeing this videos online, like on TikTok and Twitter and whatever, of just like black people going crazy on everybody just because I'm a victim. Like, dude, you're destroying property, you're attacking people.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not making your case.
That's oppressor at that's
Yeah.
you know, and you know, we joke about you know, we play the clip that you know, when you oppress people, we play this clip.
See,
you
your
know.
actions have consequences. When you oppress people, they rise up in a fiery anger.
Some of those people are oppressed and they're just rising up in a fiery anger.
Yeah, dude, but
But,
I mean, come on.
always
Okay,
worse
okay.
than
Let's bring this down to an animalistic level. Okay, so if my people, to speak in their terms, keep on behaving like this, and basically your people, and I'm already talking on those guys' terms, I don't see it that way, get fed up with my people. They're 13% of the population. They're going to be wiped out. Okay? So let's just put our brains to work, start reading, and see our neighbors for what they are, our neighbors. You can have awesome, like even like jokes. You can have a life. You don't need to have this idea
Right.
that you're being oppressed. Just work and look for your stuff. And
Right.
you'll be fine. Like this, dude, I don't get this.
Yeah,
idea.
but this mindset is what caused those comments.
Yeah.
And the solution is not to separate ourselves.
No, not at all.
The solution is to integrate ourselves and to have these conversations.
Yeah.
And what happens is, again, he was isolated in this room, so he wasn't having this conversation with people of different perspectives.
Now, what you've called up here, you can put the link in the chat if you want. I can't do it because I can't, for whatever reason, I can't contribute to the chat through the StreamYard.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the only interview that Scott Adams granted after he had already been canceled by his syndicate. This is his word. It's fine in his words, his final discussion on the matter with the black activist Hotep Jesus. It's about an hour long. He goes in and intellectually breaks down his understanding and why he said what he said. He admits that he spoke off the cuff and said things not inappropriate, but said them inappropriately.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is worth a watch.
And really explains his points. A lot of this, his viewpoint, personally, I don't agree much with, but it shows that he's a intelligent individual who has done his best to make rational, informed decisions and has expressed them inappropriately. But this guy said, it's a box. I saw the box. I wanted to shake the box, so I shook the box. And if I'm done, I had a good ride. That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said.
Isn't he worth like $100 million?
No, closer to 400.
Exactly.
Closer to 400.
That's gonna be fine.
He said he's made money. He's seen the apex of his income stream, and it's dropping off because the newspapers aren't nearly as big as they used to be, especially here in the States.
Yeah.
So he's watching his money already drop down.
But so he's going to be fine. But
he's at a Kanye point where he can say what he wants to say, and if people don't like it, it was a good ride.
My advice to him, and I know he has already done this, go to Barbados, which is a 70% black populated country, and open a bank account there. They'll pay you 7% on any bank account you have.
Wow.
There you go.
You don't need for money anymore, sir. And you look to live with those 400 million.
You know, Barbados is nice too, and I've heard the people are wonderful.
Barbados is yes.
And I've heard the people are wonderful. If he wants to get around black people that like white people, go to Barbados.
Or Trinidad and Tobago, all the Caribbean.
The only color that matters there is green.
Green, right?
But he does raise some really interesting points in this interview.
Yeah. We can't get to all those today.
No.
But there's context that we need to have with this whole thing. But number one, the cancellation, probably earned. What he said was harsh to hear, harsh to listen to. It was off.
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear it, you know it's off. You're like, man, this is off. No, that's not right. No, you don't. Yeah, you don't run away from black people. You don't. That sounds bad no matter how you try to spin it, buddy. You can't be. That's not helping. And you have a platform, my friend. You've got people that listen to you, and you just made things worse.
But he never gave a why. Like he was talking about, they hate, why they hate or whatever. Just talk about, like he was talking about crime and stuff. Like talk about statistics. Talk about why that's happening.
The why is in here.
Point to the
leadership. The interview is really good.
Yeah, but guys. The thing is like, our history, our common history. And I'm not talking about history like first world countries in Latin America. We have a horrible past, all right? And there's no denying that. Yeah. But you can't allow history to dominate you through anger.
No.
Just learn. Know what happened.
Somebody has to say no and move forward. Like I feel like my generation, like the 80s and 90s, that was like the closest to racial harmony America's ever gotten.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And then they just said, wait a minute, we're not getting votes.
Remember, Jenko, even the darkest villain thinks they're a hero in their own head.
Yeah, dude. And that's the thing. Like, if you allow anger, if you allow history to anger you, you're going to be looking for revenge and reparations, and you're not
all
helping.
the time.
It's not helping. What you need to
It's
know
retribution. I see a lot of retribution.
Yeah, dude, and it's stupid. Just to learn the patterns. If you see something funny happen, you can recognize it and act on it. But don't go out seeking like, okay, I want reparations for 400. Like you weren't alive 400 years ago. Okay.
And what about white people that moved here after all of that? You know, those
exactly,
families.
dude. What about like a Russian guy who moved from Odessa in 1942? What does that have to do with
literally?
There are
literally learning the wrong lessons from history, and it's so easy to breed fear and hate, and make money off it, and capitalize off of it.
We
That's
all
what
are
you're
being
getting.
taught the wrong lessons. That's the part that's getting lost.
It's like the color revolution is getting old for me because I was in the military and I remember either day 1 or day 2 they said, you're not black, you're not white, you're not red, you're not yellow, you are all green because we all bleed red. And they're not and I saw people die not because of the color of their skin, but for the flag they had on their shoulder. So I don't want to hear it when I hear these people trash America because you've never been outside of it. So stop.
Right. Amen.
Yep.
Amen.
That's the only.
That's my rant on that.
No. The American flag is the only flag we should be flying across the board, and I see that as Americans. You know, not
And
you know.
you know what? I'm from somebody who has been shot at by the American Army. I'll have to say I concur.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. Like I was having this conversation with James.
Because it was Army of One was our motto when I got there. Army of One.
Yeah, dude.
Now it's Army of however
something-
many you want to be.
Yeah, but there's something about America, man. The thing is, like, you guys like shut up students in '64 with the American Army, like that's before like the treaties, and then you invaded in '90. On paper, I'm supposed to hate America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I went to see Captain America: First Avenger, and I saw Captain America running with the Howling Commandos at the Nazi base, I was screaming, "America! There's something about you guys." You know what I mean? And that's something that you have to recognize. I hold no hatred. Noriega needed to be taken out. What happened in '64 was, well, that was iffy. Dude, like we had the Louisiana laws, and there was a lot of segregation down here. So I kind of lived part of what you guys lived in the '60s in the U.S. It was similar, but I was born in '74, so all I read was books.
Right.
At 22, I was pissed out of my ass.
I get you. I was the same way when I was young.
Exactly.
Like
But
pale faces.
But as I grew up, and that's the thing, like the advantage I had from the rest of Latin America is that I grew up surrounded by Americans because you guys were here. We had like 14 bases throughout the whole country.
Yeah. Okay.
And I met Americans directly, and they were like awesome friends. I played guitar, so I was in bands with you guys, and dude, like I met families. Hey, better stay for dinner. You know, it's you just cool families, people. Politics, whatever, that's guys in suits making decisions that we down here have no control over.
Neither do we.
Yeah,
Well, see,
exactly. That's the thing.
That's the truth that Pedro's leaning in, and that we all need to realize.
Yeah,
the
dude.
real difference between the vast, and I was talking about this because we were talking about what's going on with Russia, and I've got some people who are like, we need to go fight Russia or fight the Chinese or fight somebody. I'm like, I will never get what taking a farmer out of their field, giving them a gun and telling them go kill other farmers, at the end of the day, does for the big guys. I mean, like, I look at it, I think about the truce, the Christmas truce of 1914.
Yeah.
When they just...
What a beautiful story.
You know what happened? The soldiers decided, no, we're not doing this.
Both sides, Americans and Germans. Christmas Day, they'd been killing each other the day before. They got together, they took care of their dead, they celebrated Christmas. That night, they went back into their foxholes. The next day, they started killing each other again.
Yeah.
I mean, and that might be my Christian morality showing too much, and if it is, I mean no offense, but and I hate that it's like, this is gonna sound stupid, but I wish the generals and the government agents and the high-ranking people would go. You know what I mean? Because if the congressmen and senators had to go to war, when they came back, they would treat it very differently. If it was their kids going to war, they would treat it differently. Now, I am a fat civilian. I wanted to enlist. I gave them the blank check, and they said no, thank you. You know,
nice.
I'm being honest about that. But I grew up with my dad is a Vietnam veteran, Brown Water Navy, Purple Heart. He got shot and blown up and all sorts of stuff. His base actually sunk under him, so he is considered a sailor because he was in the Navy. Whose ship sunk? It's not common. But because he worked at the VA, I hung out there. I met a lot of veterans. And like, here, hey kid, you want to see what a bullet hole looks like in somebody? You know what I mean? That was my upbringing. My dad would pull up and show the white phosphorus burns where he had to dig the white phosphorus out of his leg. So I didn't get the war is glory crap that a lot of people got. I mean, it's necessary sometimes, and it's tragic that it's necessary. But my part is, can we get past the tragedy? I mean, I would really like to see, and I know it would never happen, but Kim Jong-il, I'm sorry, my dyslexia.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, any of them.
But Kim Jong-il was the father. Kim Jong-un is the son.
Yeah.
Okay. Fat boy, flat head.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that could have been the father too, but keep going.
No, that's true. You know, I want to invade America. Proceed.
Try.
I tell you what.
Shot. Young dreamer.
Come on. Heck, even Joe. I'd sit and eat popcorn to watch those two go in a ring and settle it like men.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think even 80-year-old Gimpy Joe would give him a run for his money. You know?
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I wouldn't pay that pay-per-view, man.
Yeah, that'd be really boring, I think, in the end.
I think it could be hilarious, you know? But what I mean by that is I wish there was more, like, personal responsibility across the board. Like, if you're offended by something, historically, you know, we used to have duels, and they're terrible things, but at least, you know, there would be I'm offended. Okay, what are you going to do about it?
Do something.
Do something, or you know, accept that you can't and shut up.
Yeah.
Welcome, 24 Eyes. It's nice to have you here
And you know, it should be open for anybody.
Yeah.
So, back to the price of free speech. Whether this guy, whether Adams was.
Picture,
it looks like
this
John
is a different guy.
dressed as a samurai.
This is a different guy. Hold on. This is our next topic.
Because.
But to end off
it was walleye vision for a second there.
But to end off the Adams conversation, whether he is a converted racist or or he is because I think he's very left leaning by a lot of his comics that I read. I don't. I'll be honest with you. I think that his cartoon should have been canceled a long time ago because I don't think it's funny. But
that's
humor is subjective.
Yeah.
So
I used to love Dilbert because Dilbert was one of those things that made my dad laugh.
Yeah, see, it never got, like, it was too dry and too satirical. And
I also don't think you were in an office much in your life.
No, I wasn't. No, I was working. I was working.
That'd be like somebody else who, that'd be like a comic about, working in the comic book industry. Somebody else isn't going to have any real.
Yeah, they're not going to.
So yeah, the humor was a little niche for you.
Yeah, it's very niche. Yeah. So whether I think he was trying to be satirical. I think in his satire, a bit of truth came out. I think that he's a scared individual. I think
why he's scared.
Yeah, I think he allowed fear to motivate what he said. Maybe he was attempting to shake things up with what he said, but what he said was.
You shake something else.
I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, Nick. I'm not just gonna send fingers up at anyone.
No. And my problem with it is, for me, that style of logic and that severe, from point A to point B, you know, to go from claiming you were black, which I'm sorry, I'm old fashioned.
Like, man, I couldn't stop laughing.
I believe that largely you are what you are what you are. I mean, there are exceptions and such, but
I mean, that by itself, I was like, this guy's an idiot. Like,
when he said that, I'm like, okay, that's bizarre. But when he said what he said about flee from the black people,
right?
And you know, I've moved my family out. It's like, okay,
he believes that. He believes that's not satire.
No,
as soon as he said that, I was like, "You're done."
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're done, bud.
It was wrong on so many because it was tactically stupid. Yeah, I'm going to be honest here.
For such a smart guy,
not only was it racist by definition, it was tactically stupid to do.
Yeah.
There's no benefit.
Yeah, it doesn't help anybody.
It doesn't help. It doesn't provide kindness. It wasn't true. According to him, at that moment, he believed it to be true. Like I said, you watch the video, you see no liar smirk. You see no twitch. You see some shame. You see some disgust on his face. Mostly speaking to his when he's thinking about his actions before.
Yeah.
Just analyzing the facial moves.
I don't know, dude. I mean, if we look at if we take it down to brass tacks, this is like the most passive way of racism I've ever seen in my life. And dude, he's welcome to it.
Like Karen level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Karen levels of racism.
Yeah. You want to isolate? Hey, dude.
I threw up a cartoon that's currently circulating around Facebook if you want to share it.
Oh, yeah.
And my problem is I don't think it should That's funny. Okay, that is funny. That is funny.
Oh, that's got me laughing, guys. That's good.
Yeah, there you go.
That is good stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, you can say whatever you want, but you are going to have to live with the consequences. He said what he wanted to say, and
I'm gonna make it shorter because it's really easy. My dad has a saying. It's one I believe. It's in my heart. It's one of the great wisdoms of the world. If you're gonna be stupid, you have to feel pain.
Right? Yeah.
There you go,
Danny.
Yep.
Danny, the actual Danny from Hybrids, the guy that inspired that, told me, if you're gonna be dumb, you got to be tough.
Yep.
That is so idiocy positive.
Right, and
no, I mean, wow.
You can, so free speech does have a cost. Like, you're free to do, but there's a cost associated with everything that you say. Even identifying with a political party, especially in these tumultuous times, will begin to get you pushed into one side of things or another. You will get labeled, whether you decide to choose a label or not. People in society will label you if for no other reason than to either claim you for their side or to make you an enemy.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen.
You know what? Further, I have found, as somebody who works very hard, because I believe as an artist, it's not just my privilege to travel in all circles of society. It is my duty, because I have the ability to talk to people that, other people can't. Because if I set up a sketch pad, people will talk to me.
Everybody likes art.
Right. So if you have an all access pass to every gathering almost, and a chance to experience that, different people in their comfortable environment, why wouldn't you?
Jason Black asks, "There's no value in self-sabotage." Maybe there is.
If you make self-sabotage look like ballet,
he's definitely in the news. I did not think it was going to be that big of a story, and when I went to my news feed later that day, it was the only thing that was being reported on. Nothing else.
I will get because there's a lot of things they don't want to talk about right now.
Yeah. Right.
They don't want to talk about that. Murdoch testified, in court that all the Trump stolen election lies were lies, that the texts that the reporter said are shown in court, that all the reporters on Fox News knew they were lies and were doing it anyway.
Right.
I mean, all that isn't being discussed in many news networks.
They don't want to talk about
They don't want to talk about Ohio having,
definitely don't want to talk about Ohio.
Chernobyl, and then Governor Holcomb. Yeah, sure, we'll take your dirt, put it in 40 miles west of Indianapolis. Just keep the money flowing,
They've spread that all over the place. There's some of that dirt coming up here to Flint, too.
Right.
Of which I've only seen one media outlet draw that connection between Palestine and Flint, and the fact that all of the locals or the big political locals were all getting around drinking the water as a show that they believed that the water was good. We had the same thing up here, only they were using bottled water.
Of course they were.
Yeah.
Because they know it's bad.
They know it's bad.
Right. Go to that river that's shiny with the rainbows.
Oh, yeah, the rainbow.
Grab a cup of water out of that. Yeah.
Tell you what, why don't you have some fun and strike a match first?
Use a straw.
No
if
way.
you light a match, then it's a cocktail.
And take a bath in there first. See how
right. But yeah, the debate about free speech, I understand. I agree with you a little bit here, Jason, that we can't evolve because we keep going back and doing stupid things, like what was just done.
Well, it's encouraged.
It's encouraged. It really is.
Because it's real easy. For the same reason certain technical things aren't used, certain technologies aren't profitable, aren't produced.
Right.
It's because us evolving as humans to the point where, we just take care of each other like we're supposed to, instead of the assorted militant tribalism that we are, kind of shoved at.
Right.
That's not profitable.
Yeah,
Rage is profitable. Hate
Right.
is profitable. It keeps you from looking at what the big guys do. It's always about keeping us from looking up and going, wait a second, why are we scrambling from crumbs when those dudes have the entire, there are people walking around with more than nation's gross national products. And they're like, yes, but fight amongst yourselves. Fight amongst yourselves. Hate them because you're black. Hate them because they're white. They did something
Stupid.
to you
So when you
400 years ago. They did something to you 50 years ago. Because, the sins of the father. Wait a second. We're not supposed to be held accountable to that sort of thing. Oh, no, but we should. We got.
When you go back to the 90s,
Right.
when you
that'd
go
be
back
nice.
to the 90s before social media, what basically people came up with their own consensus and their own decisions, and basically it was whatever was people liked, people talked about, that's what got the chatter, that's what got talking. Now we live in a world with social media where you have I don't want to say everyone trying to sell something is a snake oil salesman, but let's say you have 10 different people in the town square all trying to sell something to the same audience of people. And each different snake oil salesman is doing whatever they can, waving their arms, screaming and shouting and flailing explosives to get the attention of the crowd as much as they can for as long as they can. That's what social media has turned people into.
And you know what? Thank you for bringing up the current state of independent comics as well.
Yeah.
Not to pull us back to actual thing, but
Yeah, well, that's the truth. I was on a panel last night where we discussed if it was possible for publishers to work together, not just independent creators, but publishers to work together. And it was a fun debate. We took two opposing sides and discussed it. And I think, I don't know that we really got anywhere, but it's like most debates, at the end of the day, you come up with ideas, but you don't get anywhere unless you implement those ideas.
Yeah,
and we talked about evolution, about how we evolve as people, and we've devolved, I think, into this snake oil salesman mentality. But part of what happened in those town squares was they started shouting out slurs about the other salesmen and why their product was bad. And if it wasn't their product, why you shouldn't support that person. And that's exactly what we've resorted to in our culture with social media. And here is a guy, it's been 50 years in the making, but this guy's name is Phil Suling. Now, he looks a little bit creepy. Talk about bad pictures, right?
Yeah. He looks like Western Europe creepy.
Yeah, but this guy is responsible for comic conventions and the direct market the way that we know it.
Oh, this guy is one of the guys.
One of the guys.
responsible.
I thought that was. It
He's
looked like
been
John
pointed-
Travolta with dressed up as a samurai.
He's been pointed at as being one of the key people, but there were actually a lot of people at the same time that came up with the ideas that they attribute to Phil. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy was, I think, a lot because of his personality. When you read about him in this article, he has a very big personality. In fact, he would take out ads to talk about how awesome he was.
Oh, that's always cool.
But it was. I guess it was endearing to people, especially in the '70s, late '70s. When you got guys that are like that. That it was toxic masculinity at its peak.
Chuck Rosansky, Mile High Comics, said when he came into a room, there was hardly room for anyone else.
Right.
He was bombastic, very opinionated. If Phil didn't agree with you, boy, howdy, he'd let you know.
Yeah.
Sounds
Sounds like
like
my kind of guy.
Yeah, I like this guy.
Sounds like my kind of guy. But he had a store. He had a store, and he would have a lot of comics. And let me find this one spot here.
Dick Giordano said he'd jawbone you into submission. Says he looked like a hood with a thrusting jaw and hard angles in his head and body, but all this hid his sharp mind, a well-honed intelligence, and a desire to improve the comic industry.
That's where it comes down. He had a desire to improve the comic industry, and so he innovated. He was part of this innovation of at the time, the only way that people were getting comics was kind of the old newsstand model. Was you would get things you couldn't order what you wanted. It was basically you got like the pack. You got a pack, and whatever was in the pack is what you got, right? So comics would get messed up in there, and they had this weird return. There was only you only got a 20% discount off of whatever the cover price was, and you couldn't choose what you wanted, and you had to get everything, like newspapers and everything with it. Wow. And there was a really high return rate because nobody wants yesterday's newspaper.
Well, they were only at comics at this point. Were only a dime or 12 cents, also. So.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of money.
Yep.
And so
you'd get these bound bundles from your distributor that would be thrown out like you see in the movies where they throw out the newspaper in front of the bodegas. That's the way it was always done. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And Phil had an idea, along with a lot of other people. They had these ideas to do something a little bit different. So they would have stores that would have a lot of comics collected on the shelf, and you could go in and buy those. And in fact, here in the article, someone recounts a story where they were going. Let me find. I've missed it somewhere. I had tagged it mentally, and I wanted to share this because I thought it was very very interesting because it's something that kind of gets me. It's right down here. It is. I think it is. Nope. That's not it. All right. So yeah, here it is. So here's this guy. He says, but even when Thomas would win, Suling was the real winner. As one of comics' early dealers, he had the goods. He had one room at his place that was just a wonderland of comics. Thomas remembers. When I'd play there, sometimes I'd stay the night and just wander into that room and look at all of the stuff. If I won, they're talking about a poker game. He says if I'd won, I'd usually wind up just giving it all back to Phil because I'd buy all these old comics. So, I mean, that's kind of the idea. And so they would do these conventions. They started these small things and it picked up. And eventually what it led to was him and other people. I mean, they're attributing a lot of this to Phil. But there were, like Randy said, there was a lot of people that were involved with this that maybe didn't get credit. But I'm sure Phil probably took credit for it too.
Yeah.
Dude,
Because
it's a good thing you
personality.
clarified. It's a good thing you clarified it was a poker game. Because I started feeling this like very heavy Boogie Nights vibes.
Yeah,
I
no.
went into the room. And he had everything.
I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't.
We'd play at his place near Coney Island, right at the end of the subway line. Remembers Roy Thomas, 40-year-old writing vet. Was befriended by Sue.
Yes. I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual.
Right. Don't know what was going on there.
But Phil was very important in the formation of conventions and the direct market on the East Coast, just like Bud Plant was essential on the formation of the direct market on the West Coast. You know, the underground comics movement coming out of San Francisco had a lot to do with that. And there was even a guy here in Michigan, in Big Rapids, was doing Big Rapids distributing and doing direct market distributing way back in the mid-'70s as part of the direct market. It all just started forming at once. Once these guys, and Phil might have been a major part of that, broke the ice with the major publishers and convinced them to start selling comics to them directly as well as the newsstands.
Yeah, because he wanted back issues. So it says here when Superman 206 came out, he wanted extra copies of 205.
Yeah.
And they were convinced, these people that were dealing, the few people that were dealing with comics, knew that if they had these, if they could convince the publishers to sell directly to them what they wanted, they were having a flourishing back issue business. Which right now in comics, what's saving comics right now?
The back issue.
Back issues and omnibuses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's almost like history repeats itself to an extent, you know? And so check this out.
How do you know where you're going if you don't know where you've been?
Exactly. Randy, you want to read this article, this bit
But I
right
happened
here?
to be present at D.C. the day he came in and pitched it. Levitz remembers, then D.C. vice president. Saul Harrison come up with me after the meeting and said, Phyllis, this idea for selling comics straight to the comic shops. Do you think that's a good idea? I didn't know enough to vouch for the idea, but I do, but I could vouch for Phil as a person. The comic shops were all trying to figure out how to get new comics through the newsstand distributors, though through very imperfect methods. So they were really used comic shops as opposed to new comic shops. It was Phil's system that tipped that over and opened that door.
Wow. Nice.
Suhling's system was to have the publishers sell to him at 60% off cover price. Suhling would sell to comic dealers at 40 to 50% off, doubling their margins or better. Under the system, returnability was gone. But who cared? Remember, comic dealers wanted extra copies of last month's Superman. Roy Thomas set up a similar meeting for Suhling with Sal Brodsky at Marvel. And as soon as he had DC and Marvel in his pocket, the rest of the publishers quickly fell in line. By 1974, Seagate Distribution, named for Suhling's Brooklyn neighborhood, was up and running. So yeah, he started Seagate Distribution. Bud did Bud Plant Distribution. Then there was Big Rapids out of the upper part of Michigan. They were all moving direct market books, shipped to them directly from the publishers.
And then Diamond came in and strong-armed everybody out.
That's a longer story. Yeah,
That's a longer story, and
I'll have a monkey talk all about it one day.
yeah.
I'll be right back.
But it's this kind of innovation that drives I think, any industry.
Well, there was
And
a group of comic guys that wanted to get their comics directly and not through these newsstand distributors that, like I said, was binding them all up into big bundles and just throwing them around like they were nothing. They knew there was some collectability in these books, especially if they were in good condition. So you get it right direct from the publisher. You get them in boxes. They're somewhat protected. Then they're, for the most part, you're going to get stuff in decent condition that you can sell and resell and resell as you go along. So
all this is
start
great.
of the collector's market.
Yeah, Randy, but all this is great if your product doesn't suck.
Yes,
you know what I mean. That's
very true.
That's the main thing.
But that's the main reason they did this, is because at the time all of these guys were really big into comics, the production of comics, and that wouldn't have happened if you really want to get into history. If the fact that comics at that point had practically grown up with these guys. I mean, up until the Comic Code Authority kicked in, you were getting some pretty adult content out there before the code slapped in with crime doesn't pay and the EC line and stuff like that.
Right.
Gaines and Burroughs, Charles Burrow, had taken the art form and started growing it up so that they were producing books that they wanted to read. And that kept the collectability going and the interest in it. Comic Code kind of stifled it for a little bit, but the direct market and the underground market, the alternative market, really opened it back up into these comic shops.
Yeah,
there was a lot of little things happening at once that turned into a big outlet. Unfortunately, it also turned the art form into a niche market.
It did,
because the newsstand started pulling away and going, well, they can get that at the comic shop down the street. Why are you offering it at the drugstore?
Right.
You know,
I think another thing that kind of stifled some of the creativity is when people kind of saw those, people would pitch their ideas to one of the bigger publishers. And early on, I tried to pitch some ideas, and I talked to one publisher, and they said, we actually don't take new writing or IP ideas from people.
Yeah.
Unless they're already internal.
Yep.
So, and they said the reason why is because if we have something that's similar in the works, we don't want that to come out in a few months or even a year or two and have someone claim that we are plagiarizing their work. And you go ahead.
These direct distributors opened up, and you had these independent creators, most of which were burned out by the larger publishers or turned away because they either didn't have the nepotism or a way in. These guys all sat there and said, I can do my own comics. Look at all these underground books that are out.
Tons. Yeah.
I don't have to do drugs. I don't have to talk about sex. I can do the comics I want to read, and that's where the alternative independent market really sprung out.
Yeah. And it's still vibrant to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look around now, right now, I think the economy's hurting everybody. All the numbers this year are down across the board with comics. Crowdfunding became an innovative way to get your comics out there. But unfortunately, for a while, even at Kickstarter, I think the number was like less than 60% of the comic books that were crowdfunded on Kickstarter were actually being fulfilled. So that's not a very good percentage of books that you buy that you never get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that doesn't work out. And Indiegogo was able to fix that a bit, but those numbers have kind of swung back in a negative direction again, which is why we're working with Fund My Comic, and we're going to curate that site. We want to make sure that if you're running your campaign, you're going to be able to fulfill. Like you've got the work done, and that you've put all of the tools in place to be successful.
Well, the thing there is Phil brought a level of Phil and his friends, other people, wasn't just Phil, brought a level of respectability to the market. They pointed out these comics had value.
Yeah.
And there's such ever since the Code Authority sprung in here in the States, there's been such a lack of respect for the art form here in the States. Everywhere else you go, comics are respected almost as high art in some countries. I mean, very high art. You look at Mobius. Mobius is treated as a pure artist, just up there with Picasso. And,
I was going to say, I would
and all
say
those-
Picasso level.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
But here in the States, we're comic book artists. We're comic book. Oh,
Funny-
you're drawing
funny
Spider-Man?
books.
Yeah,
Let me tell you,
funny
that
book
is
artists, yeah.
that is
Adult
not
children,
the
that's what
case.
we are.
It's an
all the
attitude
time.
and a respect that's slowly changing. I mean, the more money that's into this market, but you
My
know,
wife interviewed at this bank. She's gonna be working at a bank now, and which is good because I had a lot of questions over the last few days about banking stuff that she was able to help me with because she's able to ask people that have been, in the banking industry for 20, 30 years. And so, so I'm learning a few things, but she told them what I did for a living. That, my husband draws his own comic books and he draws comic books. They just thought that was the coolest thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, really?
Yeah.
They thought that was cool.
Well, you're seeing that respectability
Yeah.
change. Yeah.
I get the word
it's
need
a
a
slow
lot.
change, though.
Yeah.
In Latin America, I'm seeing as a talented bum. Like,
I get that.
You do what? Yeah. So what do you do for a living, really?
Yeah.
You know,
I can draw.
I can
Here you go, Finatra. I'm just sticking the link in the. I'm sticking the link in the chat.
Oh, what's up, Finn?
So I guess anybody can use it, but I will curate the panel. Trust me.
Yeah.
Just like we're going to be curating Fund My Comic. I mean, we're going to make sure that when you go, that we have to build a trust because we're going to be so. Here, comics is niche, number one. Right?
Yeah.
We understand that it's niche, and that'll kind of get me into because I think, we've been talking about innovative things and taking big steps and moving indie comics forward is going to require additional steps. I think that crowdfunding is always going to be a part of the new model. I don't think it's going to go away, but I don't think it can be the sole model.
No,
it can't be.
No, because it's
So
not.
what are
It's not.
So what are some of the
consistently-
thoughts on that? What was that, Nick?
It's not consistently sustainable. It's peak,
No.
drop, peak, drop, peak, drop. It is a digital version of the gig economy. And what you have to have is something to balance it out. So what we really need to find is a dedicated, independent, and independent friendly. Thank you.
Both of my parents played. Yeah, both of my parents too. They've been dead for years. They're
in-
still waiting for me to get a real
independent,
job.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Like print on demand service for comics because very few. Think of how few
Welcome,
people
Finatra.
buy books in.
Hola.
Hola.
Hi.
It's Lord Finatra. Nice to have you here, man.
Sinatra.
I haven't talked to you in ages.
Oh man, I remember the early days. About a
Early
year and a
days.
half ago.
Yeah.
And
Before
then
it was.
before that as well.
Yeah.
When you launched into CG, saying, "Hey, everybody,
Yeah.
here I am."
Earlier, yeah, like pre-nap.
Pre-nap.
Which now is like, people are like, that's old school CG. And I'm like, I don't, I'm like, it's not been that long. Things move quickly, but comics
He
is
jumped
niche.
around. Luke, if anybody knows any CG lore, he jumped around the same time when Ron Mars said, "Fuck that guy, Cecil."
Yeah.
Around the same freaking time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What a fun time. What a fun time. Yeah, we had a lot
We're
of.
talking about a lot of stuff, man. The nerd bacon here is crispy.
I'm glad you like it, man. Yeah, we try to have a pretty broad
glad to hear it.
discussion. Yeah. So we're working with Fund My Comic, guys.
And that's our job.
Yeah. So we're doing this Fund My Comic thing, and it's the intent is to try to innovate a little bit, but to create more freedom, more independence. We're noticing kind of like what the indie guys did. Randy talked about the underground and independent market that emerged from just because people were kind of getting, I guess, an early version of canceled, right? Like they just couldn't get in. It's not really canceled, but they were just being shadow banned.
It's more
Yeah.
gate kept.
Gate kept.
Yeah, gate
The
kept,
word
yeah.
you're looking for is gate kept.
Yeah, and so they did their own thing,
No,
and we're running into that now too. That we're doing that on a I think a crowdfunding level, because we're getting people shadow banned and things like that, and so didn't set out to be an entrepreneur in that sense. Basically, Nick will be able to tell you, I just want to make comic books and be left the hell alone. That's kind of my, I just want people to stay off my. I want people to stay off my lawn.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
You would be such a happier man if all you did is make comics and stop trying to save the world. But
Right, but some people's burden is to save the world. Some people's burden is to save the world, and it turns out, I guess that's mine.
You're trying to be too much of a main character, Luke. It just
No, I'm. Yeah, my daughter says you got main character vibes, and I'm like, no, I am supporting character. That's my role. But anyway, so we were trying to do this thing, and you talk about the hurdles. Nick mentioned, you run into hurdles, and so you kind of got to test out things. And early on, when we started doing this, I have a lot of good people in my corner. I got Pixel, I got Todd, I've got RJ, people that know coding things. Hojo, I believe you have a dab a little bit. And one of the things that was recurring was developers are more inconsistent than artists. People talk about how artists are flaky. Not as flaky as developers. That they will move from one project to the next, and that things will take a lot longer than they're expected. And so we started playing around with developers. We teamed up with Surrendum. And I want to be honest with everyone right now. If you go to fundmycomic.com, you're going to see a different landing page. There is a new sign up, and there is a link to our Discord, because Todd and I, we had to make a choice. Surrendum was supposed to originally deliver the site before Christmas, and then we weren't announcing that. And then they were supposed to deliver it New Year's, and we weren't announcing that. And so then finally, people got real excited about this idea of Fund My Comic. It's a free speech place. It's friendly to CG folks. It's not exclusively Comicsgate. We're not pushing anyone out, because we just want to make comics and be left the hell alone, right? So in order to do that, we're making our own crowdfunding site so that we can make comics and be left the hell alone. And so we started working with Surrendum. When they didn't deliver on January 1st, and then we set a date for delivery where we were going to have this launch, and we had a countdown and everything. And my decision was, I had already started looking at other white label companies. I don't know if you guys know what white label is, but basically it's a company that does something and doesn't put their brand on it, but slaps your brand on it. Okay. A lot of your grocery store items are white label. If you buy anything Great Value, that's white label. Yeah. They didn't make it. Someone else made it. Honestly, if you buy a car battery, those are white label. So that's why you've got different parts stores that have their brand, right? There's a lot of white label coffee, which we're getting ready to do our own, called Crack-A-Boom Coffee.
Doers,
yeah. What's that?
Never mind.
Yeah, so we're getting ready to do Crack-A-Boom Coffee. But there are coders out there that do white label infrastructure, okay? And so we've been looking into that. And so I started looking into it even more because I knew from Hojo, was it you that told me that Google or something like that someone was getting a form or getting something coded from one of these big corporations, and it's like 3 years late.
No, I don't think that was me.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but I was like, okay. So the plan was to have a backup, because communication was notoriously bad from Surrendum, from Dave. And his reviews online are great. All of his customer reviews are great. But his communication is incredibly subpar. And I don't work like that. I don't work like that, especially when my name's on it and I'm the face of it. I got to know what's going on. I'm very hands-on. And so Surrendum wasn't talking to us very much. And so I knew that I was going to have a plan B, and Todd and I were discussing what we were going to do with that because we're co-owners of Fund My Comic. I knew that I needed a partner that understood coding. Todd does that 40 hours a week. That's what he does. And when we were supposed to have this big launch and deployment hit issues, I was also kind of in this like really crazy time where I just found out that I had to move. And so I had like 3 weeks to move cross country. So a lot of things kind of got put on hold, and we were just waiting on Surrendum to communicate and to deliver. And it didn't. It got pushed back a week and then pushed back a week. And I was told by several people when they said, oh, deployment is taking longer than it should. I had some people tell me deployment doesn't take that long.
Like a couple hours.
Yeah, and there's like deployment doesn't take that long. And so there's patches and testing. And to be entirely transparent with you guys, we have gone 3 weeks without hearing anything from Surrendum. So we have moved to plan B. All right. We are going to launch soon with a limited number of features, but still most of the features that we want. And our first upgrade will be implementing the shopping cart, which we won't have right away. It is definitely what I want. It's one of my top priorities. But we're going to have a slew of other amazing features that will allow you freedom to crowdfund the way that you want. Right now, it looks like we're going to be able to blend kind of the best of both worlds between Kickstarter and Indiegogo. We're going to be able to do keep things in demand. We're going to be able to do a flexible goal where payouts happen right away. And then we're also going to be able to do fixed, where people don't get charged until the end of their campaigns. So we're still working on all these features. The financials was probably the hardest part. It turns out that a lot of what they were doing, I don't really want to get into all those details, but a lot of what Surrendum was doing was setting up their own infrastructure for that, when we have access to the same infrastructure that Kickstarter and Indiegogo uses. So we're actually going to be using the exact same system, the exact same people, the exact same infrastructure that Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Lyft, and all of those other kind of consumer provider services use. So we're going to be using that. We're all set up for it. We're in testing mode right now. I'm very excited about that. But we are signing that up, and we will be launching and working to improve the site as we go. But we are going to work at a scalable level. One of the things that I think happened was Surrendum wanted to be an Indiegogo killer. And truthfully, comics is very niche, right? Like, we know it is. And we know our market is mostly those people that are being shadow banned or flat out banned. They're being canceled. So this is a platform for them. And then this becomes a place that we have a low platform fee so that you're keeping more of the money that you raise. And there's tools that are designed for you. And it's going to be a market for people that want to do games and comics. So it's very niche, less than 10% of the crowdfunding market in and of itself. And so we're trying to be a service. We're not trying to get rich. That's not what Todd and I are trying to do. I want to make comics be left the hell alone. So, yes. And I know other people want that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, all my Machiavellic plans involve my country. So
yeah,
I just need the funds for that. And that's not much.
Yeah, so we're going to be able to handle quite a bit, and it's pretty exciting.
President of Panama.
Oh,
Right.
I'm not going for president. I want to be a king.
Yeah.
Let's start
Yeah.
a monarchy.
Yeah, but so you guys know, Fund My Comic is coming. It is coming, and that's what she said.
Yeah. Coming hard, guys.
It is. It is, yeah. So at some point, we're going to be able to sit down and just be like,
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
one of these days we'll be able to do that. But we are going to start testing. Actually, today we're going to give people backdoor access. That's what she said. To get in and start building campaigns right now before we attach our domain to it. So it's going to be some weird domain that you go to. But it's all in testing, and all that will change as soon as we're ready to switch things over. And so...
God, listen to Beethoven over there.
Man, Sinatra's going crazy with his...
No, my bad. Hold up. Go, G.
That's a moment of culture. I love it.
And that's with his toes too.
Well, it was I hit Twitter on my phone and I clicked the video and I got my headphones on and I can't even hear the thing. And you can hear it over me.
Right, I've done that so many times. I boomer this situation too often.
Dude, this is pinky up, Sinatra. It was awesome.
You really go up, Luke. I wanted to come in here to challenge you for some reason.
All right.
I wanted to be the cudgel. I wanted to be the monkey in the cog, the wrench in the cog, the monkey in the monkey. Wait, whatever.
We got it.
Bow. Bring it. Shigama.
Okay.
You got a lot of talking. You got a lot of great people in here, and none of these guys are talking at all, man. Egg, Hojo, Mad Ruth. I almost wrestled Mad Ruth on my channel.
You missed it. They were all talking earlier.
Yeah.
They're all interested in Fund My Comic, what's happening over there. So,
yeah, that's because if you're getting shadow banned on Indiegogo, then what the heck is the use?
who here has been shadow banned on Indiegogo? Raise your hand.
I got Robo-Chode. I got Robo-Chode on mailing list and it's still open.
Robo-Chode.
Robo-Chode.
It's still open. I don't know if it's shadow. It's still a sign up. So
my campaign was only up 11 weeks.
Yeah.
I should launch Robo-Chode. If it just
11 weeks and I shut
banned.
my campaign down.
Listen, if a RoboCop appendage, a male appendage, RoboCop could not get shadow banned, then that means something. That, you know what I mean? But I'm Comics Day. If they go look, they're all connected. If they go on my Twitter, they'll know I'm Comics Day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
All these people are connected. It's all ESG, DEI crap.
Yeah, and conservative people like Frog G got shadow banned. Like, what's up with that?
I don't
Aaron
know.
Lopresti is shadow banned.
People are it's all revolving doors and incestuous. There's a whole never go full Alex Jones, but allow me to and say that all these people are connected.
They're turning the freaking frogs gay.
They're turning the Frog G's.
They're turning the Frog G's gay.
No, the Frog G's gay.
Poor Frog G's not even here to defend
I
himself.
know. It'd be right now. He'd be like,
Don't speak ill of Frog G.
Frog G
Even
actually
in
has
jest.
some. Yeah, Frog G actually has dice on our campaign. We have a campaign up right now on Indiegogo. Part of the reason, and we're going to talk about this here next too. But I want to share this for a second. We if some of my admins can share the link for me, I appreciate it.
I got you.
So we have people that don't want to back this because we launched here, and we're going to launch on Kickstarter, and we're going to launch a Fund My Comic, and we may even launch this somewhere else. But we're gonna tabulate all of the funds raised to meet our stretch goals. That's what we're going to try to do.
Oh, nice.
Because we're trying to get the word out. I have never crowdfunded a game before, so I am green. Right? Nick has never crowdfunded before.
Yep.
So he's green.
Nope.
So we're breaking his proverbial cherry
Oh.
on this one. And it's hard. This is
Where you at,
and,
Pedro? Where you at?
And right now, well, let's also be honest. Right now, the economy is freaking. It sucks.
less than optimal.
Some
It's very
chips are
less than
tougher than others. Sorry.
Yeah, and all of our stuff
Premium.
is high ticket.
It's
All of our
premium.
stuff is high ticket. So we did break 1,000 last night. We've been at this, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week will be 4 weeks.
Sometimes the struggle it's what you remember. So we're gonna make it, guys. This is a very solid. It looks really cool.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. Yeah, we're gonna get there. But
well, I mean, I hate to say it, but after 3 years of working hard and promoting and talking about, I never just talk the game. I keep getting invited to talk the game, and I talk hybrids up because the lore and the comic is just so dang good that, like, I get excited and then I forget. Wait, I'm supposed to promote my own dang thing.
Right.
What happens?
Right.
It's just it fills a niche within gaming that's being neglected because just like I'm known for going off that comics can be more than superheroes, and that upsets some people.
Welcome, Blue Teddy.
Gaming can be more than just.
I don't think comic books.
fantasy.
I think of Archie. I think of Peanuts. I think of Garfield. I think of Spider-Man. They could be superheroes. They could be sequentials. Anything. I think of one panel Family Circus.
Yeah.
Family Circus.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I'll be honest. I think more in terms of the funny strips when I think comics than I do the actual comic books.
I want to have a good time when I read comics. I don't want to freaking question my life. I
be lectured.
I don't want to be lectured. I don't need to be.
Yeah, we don't want an existential crisis.
No, maybe I do, but can I have fun while I go
entertain me?
Yeah, man, I don't want to be lectured about why I don't like peanuts.
Teach me something. Teach me a point of view and entertain me at the same time and make me laugh at least once.
Yeah. Well, we try to do that with this in the game. I'm telling you that Nick has developed his
well written and enjoyable.
Oh wow, that's a novel idea.
Sorry, it's.
So
I mean, I think
Nick and I
try, reach out to Marvel, DC, and be like, I got an idea, guys. I know it's world breaking. Make comics something that people want to read and not just argue about, online. Like, I remember when you said a comic book argument, and it would be Batman versus Superman or something stupid like that. Now it's like, well, this comic isn't racial motivated, blah blah blah, and this is, speaking.
Oh no! Now, like, this comic book is about men kissing. Enjoy.
Well, that's what. No, that's just kind of what feeds us to create better stories, though. We don't talk about that. We're not arguing about whose gay scene is better. Everybody's doing that on the other side. Over here, we're like, who's giving the high tea, the good art, the good writing, the characters, the lore,
the story.
Storytelling.
I can answer you really easy. Luke freaking Stone is bringing it, and he's bringing it. With
We're 9 issues in.
I mean,
9 issues in. Full game manual, 2 modules.
You're 9 issues in. You have at least 12 planned.
Mm-hmm.
At least. And the big guys can't seem to keep titles going that long. So there's in it. I'm a trade paperback guy. I've always been a trade paperback guy. Usually because I'm too broke to buy the comics, and I can find trade paperbacks cheaper.
Well, let's be honest. We're in our 40s, 50s, or whatever. Back in the day, like we didn't have PDFs. Like when Amazing Spider-Man said, "Go read back to Doctor Strange." We're like, "Well, we can't buy that issue because it's rare."
Yeah.
And we don't understand. We don't know that story, so we did have to buy trades.
Dude, I live in that
Masterworks or whatever.
I hate it, reading the X-Men and go like, find what's next on the Knights of Wundagore. Like, what? Dude, I live in Latin America, man. Like,
that was fun, man. That was so good, though. Like, go check this issue, and if you could go hunt it down, and you'd be digging through boxes at your comic book store. That was fun, man. That was a good time.
I mean,
I saw it as predatory marketing.
That was happening in the 80s, in the 70s.
Of course,
like, go check this comic. That was good. They did it in the 60s. Like, there wasn't predatory. It was like this. Excuse my language. This is like you're doing with hybrids. You're not gonna put blurbs in there. Go check this issue if you want to understand what's going on here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, what I don't like is the old like the reason I pretty much left mainstream comics, like buying them full time, is like the event fatigue. Like Secret Invasion is what kind of broke me.
Yeah.
I don't need 37 different tie-ins to get the whole story.
Well, I read Civil War. Like I skipped a few series because they were bad, but I read
They did the
most of
same
it.
thing,
And,
yeah.
And I tried to read the one after that, and I gave up really quick.
Yeah.
But it was like Civil War. After Civil War was what? Was it Secret Invasion?
Annihilation. Annihilation at the same time.
Annihilation,
Because that's what he was saying. Yeah, it reminds me because I didn't read Annihilation.
Yeah.
That was I got that on PDF. I don't have time. Civil
Like
War
weird.
was
I
good, though.
almost like blocked that one out of my memory. They just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming.
Well, you're making a story. Now we're talking about Civil War and Annihilation happening at the same time. Big tie-in, 100 issues, 37 issues, whatever it might be. At the same time, like, what are you into? The street level stuff, or the intergalactic stuff?
The cosmic,
the cosmic level, or
like
the
that,
street
yeah.
level. You know,
You know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it again. I think that there should be in the Marvel universe a class action suit by all the bodega owners who the heroes keep claiming that they're going to defend the neighborhood and run off because every time that Spider-Man and Daredevil and everyone else are off running with the Avengers to fight shape-shifting aliens on another planet, the thugs got to be like, cats away. Time to go play.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
That's what happened in Civil War, dude. They were capitalizing. Dude, it was
Right,
a good
yeah.
story, man. It was
Jason
really
Black,
good.
you should totally make an exclusive comic for Fund My Comic.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, contact me through the website and I'll we'll talk. I'll hook you up with some.
Well, I was trying to come in here and start a fight, but that didn't work.
Look, yeah, we don't fight here. The closest we got to a fight was last week.
No, I'm just me. I'm the rowdy guy. I try to come in here, but you guys are all gentlemen, and I can't do it.
No, we're fun here. We like to hang out. Here's the thing: we all love comics, and we all respect comics. We all want to make it better, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of people that respect comics and want to make it better, I want to talk about Hojo. Hojo, this is your first comic.
Yeah.
You've never made one before, but you've wanted to. You got derailed by fighting for our country.
Yeah.
On this idea.
Well, CrossGen went out of business, and I had to shelve it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have reverence for what came before.
Yeah.
For love of the game. This isn't really a money grab. I just want to get it out there. I love it.
Yeah. Here's what I respect about what you've been doing. You surrounded yourself with people that have been doing this. And you didn't just out of the blue start tagging EVS or Rob Liefeld or someone big to help promote my book. You found the people on kind of more of a ground level that were 1, 2, 3, 4 books in, that they they're fairly new to it. Many of them have lives outside of comics, trying to work full-time jobs and things like that. And you learned, what are you doing?
Yep.
You pick people's brains. I know you're part of the Genesis crew, where a lot of good ideas flow, a lot of information gets exchanged.
A lot,
yeah. Sometimes not useful, and sometimes we know a lot about the number 5. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I love you, T Bunny. Anyway,
we do love T Bunny.
Yeah, it's always useful. What are you talking about?
So, I mean, very useful information that we share in there.
Yep.
But you got involved with the comics community and the horror community.
Yeah, you got
You didn't just,
Where are you at, Pedro?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You just got
I'm
involved
not
with
saying anything. I'm not saying
Yeah,
anything.
you jumped in. You started showing up in the chats.
Mm-hmm.
You started getting around so people get to know you. You engaged. You did a little shit posting. Which helped, I think, in some cases.
Yeah.
I think a little bit helps. Some people, they just go way wild.
Yeah, I can't do
with
it all day. It's not as funny if I do it all day. I have to save it up. It's a reward. It's a treat when I can do a shit post.
Oh right, yeah. It's like going to the ice cream shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna go fight on Twitter today. I've got time.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I kind of use it as a reward to myself to argue with random strangers and about stuff that I really don't care about.
I look at all of that as like building the infrastructure, like getting in the chats, making friends with people, making connections, start talking to people. Not just like, hey, what can you do for me? But like, well, let's just talk, man. Let's just be friends. Let's talk about the industry. Mike Barron followed me really early on because of a shit post.
Right, yeah.
He's a little right leaning, and
Just a little bit.
so I said something. He was like, and then he replied like in my DMs. He said that was brilliant. I was like, oh, cool. And then I said, I actually have a script. I'm going to write a comic. Can you take a look at it? And I'm like, yeah. He's going to be like, no, I don't take unsolicited BS from nobody's. He was like, looks good. Get a good idea. It's a little thin, and then I took it from there. I came across E-Bunny's channel.
Mike is fantastic people. I mean, he's been canceled, and the people that canceled him has a straight up porn book on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I know.
And
isn't like the canceler called like filet mignon or something? Just like
he is why we're making fun of my comic.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I mean,
he's a great guy.
Yeah,
very talented.
And it's not fair. I mean, whether you're left or right leaning, I'm a libertarian, more right leaning than not. Nick is a classic liberal, and we're like best friends.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't. I like that we don't agree on everything, because I need that juxtaposition.
I think the greatest thing is to be able to have your opinions and your viewpoints challenged, and to be able to extrapolate information and see, well, I was doing it wrong. And if you could have your mind changed by rational information, and not just somebody lying to you, but like showing you the truth and saying, hey, not saying you were wrong, but you were looking at it the wrong way, and you can look at something a different way. That's growth as a human being. That's maturity. That's wisdom. Like I always tell people, my worldview is shaped by my experiences and my reading.
Right.
Not only that, but when you're right, it's fucking awesome. Sorry.
It is.
It's very nice when you're right. Like it feels good to be right. And I think people want to feel right all the time.
Yeah.
So they force it. They don't do it organically. Yes. And so what we're seeing is these platforms, they are eliminating opposing viewpoints in many cases.
Yes.
People want to eliminate. They don't really care what is in
They don't
Mike's
know what
book.
they're censoring. Yeah, they don't know what they're censoring.
Yeah.
They just know that you think differently than them, or you voted for a certain person, or you talked to this person. So, i.e., your idea must be better. You must be eliminated. You cannot see the light of day. And you know what?
Yeah.
It's a generation.
I got to duck out. I got to pick up my kid from school.
All right, man. Have a good one. Nice to have you today.
Good day, everyone.
You'll be able to check out Second Chance for Soul Tack very soon on Fund My Comic.
Mad Rose, come see me, man, someday, man. Come.
Yeah, I lurk in your chat. I just don't answer.
I know I see you.
Yeah, I lurk sometimes too.
Right.
I lurk at work a lot.
Come on, you gotta harass me. Just give me the link and.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Take care, man.
I need to get down into the chats more. I've been so busy that I just haven't been able to get around.
Always happening. The thing with the chats is that they're always happening.
Yeah.
There's never enough YouTube streams, no matter what day it is. You know.
I know.
Right. Yeah. People need that escapism, and I think that's the beautiful part about it, is we can create that, and.
Oh my God! Sorry.
It's all right, but I don't know what's happening over there. But
if it helps, it was in that range that I can barely hear. So
yeah, what happens is we focus so much on these political things, that we forget to just have fun a little bit.
No,
and
actually, you
get
guys,
lost in the story.
Well, I thought that's what I did, because I do talk about books when it's time to, but for the most part, I'm just like riling people up and like all the crazy World War III crap and New World Order stuff, and that's for me providing that, because we are escaping and you don't want to be distracted too much, and that's my message. Like we're we're here to be distracted, but at the same time, let's not put our heads
Not put the earbuds in completely.
Yeah, we have a
heads in the ground like ostriches.
we have a Nerd Bacon green room that we chat in through the week. And
at the same time, we don't want to rile ourselves up into a frenzy, and it's a balance, right?
Right. Yeah.
You can't really get too upset about things you cannot change.
Right. So in our group, I found that article from the Project Veritas where it talked about Pfizer manipulating the virus, right?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Hold on. What?
So I shared that. I shared that, and I said, "Wait a second."
This information changed the genome of the freaking.
Yeah, I'm like, this is almost the plot to Hybrids. I thought I was writing escapism. Now I'm writing reality. It's ridiculous. And so we kind of joked, amused about that.
Are you talking about like the Anunnaki and stuff like that, though?
Oh, the Anunnaki. No. Nice. Going
Are
down
you?
rabbit
Are
hole.
A little bit.
Oh, nice.
Nephilim.
Come on,
Yes,
get it in.
more of this Sinatra.
We're
Yes.
coming for our gold.
Yes, bring it in. Let's do
Oh,
it.
geez, I bring up the Anunnaki and we're gonna start a riot. You
We
guys
can discuss that all day.
You Anunnaki
Right.
phobes. Oh my god.
Yeah, man. It's pretty funny.
They're dying out there and you don't accept.
Yeah, there'll be.
Dude, like this is taking me back to the times of David Icke and his silly video.
Oh, Dave Ike, yeah.
Oh, Dave Ike, yeah.
David Ike. Yeah, I like how you say he's so Hispanical.
Yeah, I'm
Jason gets. He says you don't see how insidious politics is. Yeah. Jason gets it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to have a mind wipe to be able to perceive, or you get numb.
Yeah.
And that's
you have to step away from it.
What we do is we teach civility, because I think civility needs to be taught.
Yeah.
No one else does.
With a stick.
And we teach there are multiple personalities, international perspectives, but what you find is most people are decent people. They just want to take care of their families and have a nice time. Most people don't really even want to deal with the hazard of being rich. Like, it's a pain in the ass. Are my friends?
Yeah, I agree with that.
But
yeah, dude, you don't know your wife.
You want enough to do what you love and get done.
I like free money. I don't want to work for it. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
when you work for it, is when you.
I don't trust free money. I don't trust myself with free money.
Nothing's free.
There's a lot of that.
Free money
No,
always
no,
has
I
a
was-
call.
no, it's a lot of mentality.
You have to
have to
pull
shoot
out.
some people, but hey.
Sometimes you just want the good. When I look at a comic, I want to see at the end of the day, and it's not asking a lot, but I want to see the good guys win and the bad guys hit the ground with a very satisfying thump. It's not asking a lot.
Well, then back to Mythicals, Nick Tockert.
Yes.
And there's many
And,
ways.
and that's why I like
Definitely.
that's why I like hybrids, because even though it's dark and it's gonna get darker, 'cause, Luke tells me things. It's like I can't spoil them, and I watch him like froth to spoil his own stuff. But
I know it's hard
like,
not to.
dear Lord, especially if you've read this arc, dear Lord. But you look at the Mythicals over here, and what do you have? You have villains. You have heroes.
Yep.
You have a government agent with accuracy and firearms that makes me happy. Yes, I like to see monsters shot.
You know,
It makes me happy.
You mentioned
I'm not asking a lot, guys. The
You mentioned
thump can be because a 45 hit a werewolf. That will make me happy. Because I like to believe that the bad guys can lose. We don't see it enough in real life, so we need it in fiction to keep us alive.
There was a faux pas somebody made in CG who was a big name, and somebody called him out saying that your heroes look like villains.
Yeah.
And then the person got kind of upset about it. Like, well, what do you want me to do? I wanted to do a hardcore book,
It's like, yeah, but
I mean, that's an opinion. Like, you shouldn't take offense to a comment like that.
yeah, you got to decide whether you're going to do anything with it.
It got real. Wow.
Yeah, it got a little bit real.
Dawn wants to know if civility is something in an odd fantasy world.
No, just
You know,
No, just the Bacon Nation.
Civility.
That's why I stick
stands,
around.
The civility stands behind the veil of the threat of violence. That's what people don't want to understand. We behave in society in the civil way. This is not they're going to throw us out of a window, and that's the thing.
Well, heroes are born through injustice.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to see some kind of injustice, and you want that catharsis at the end, where it's like, yeah, boy, you got what you deserve.
You guys all think I'm a hero.
Yep,
I'll accept that responsibility.
Yeah.
Cool, Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, Wolverine. Yeah.
Wolverine, Danny DeVito.
Yeah. He's my Wolverine forever.
But the truth is that there should be a comic for everyone. I mean, if you want to do a grittier comic where your villains look like heroes and your heroes look like villains, then you can do that. I'm sure there's a market for it. Yeah. I mean, there's a market for most things out there.
Well, I think my point was
look at the boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a comic, bud.
Yeah. I think.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
There's a market for about everything.
There's a market for that.
There's a market for that.
Guys, it's noon. I need to step out.
Yep. Right. Have a good one, Randy.
We'll see you soon.
Visit aerocomics.store.
Aerocomics.store.
Aerocomics.store. Let's keep looking at this.
Comics by Night, Friday morning. Indie Comics Network will be looking at the great art of Walt Simonson.
As he pops out, here, watch this.
In the middle of the night or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
Everything about that trailer, says Randy.
That is. That sums up the show perfectly. Yep. See everybody soon.
See you, buddy.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
See you, Randy. Stay safe.
All right.
Hey, Randy.
Go on, man.
So, a lot of people will get into comics because they want to springboard it into something else. What was your motivation for making this comic, Hojo?
I just want to make a comic book, man. Comic books are terrible nowadays, and I was like, I'll just make them the way they used to be. I'm not trying to get a film deal. I don't want a TV series. I just want to tell these 13 issues. That way my kids can tell their friends in about a couple years, like, that's my dad.
Right.
Like, I love comic books. This is a damn good story. I'm trying to do the best I can with, the art and budget and manage everything. Whatever I could do to make the book better in the future, I'll do. It's really about the customers. Like,
you give him more money, he will give you better stuff.
Yeah, more stuff. I got a great deal here, great price point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
It's $13 for a physical book.
Oh, nice.
And you get a free sticker right there. Boom. Bam.
We were talking about the other day how the price points are getting lower, and Hojo really set the price as low as it could really get.
Right. Yeah.
As far as lately, as of late.
Well, I was gonna do 14, and I'm like, dude, it's just $1 off. You could do it 15. I'm like, all right, we'll do $2. 13's a kind of a supernatural number. We'll keep it right there, just the motif.
You were taking a chance. That's how you know.
Yeah, like we have the Arrow bundles on our campaigns,
right?
And we keep those numbers as low as we can get them.
I think that people do want cheaper books, but at the same time, like, it is crowdfunding. I mean, like, if they can, it's a cool thing if you get cheaper books, but I think that when does it happen? When does everybody start putting their books at 15? Because the standard is the gold standard is 25, right?
25, yeah. Like, we're not selling like a retail, like, we're not printing 10,000 copies, so yeah, we have to make it.
And you don't want to sell yourself short either,
Exactly.
and you don't want to get in debt with your. So I mean, Hojo, you are doing something that we are watching. We're watching you.
Yeah,
man.
we're watching you, man.
And it's working, man. You're doing a lot right with this campaign.
Your window.
Commercially risky, but hey.
Yeah.
As long as y'all
Watching
watching
you-
me in the shower.
Yeah, we're watching you in the shower.
That's all right.
Yeah, we're watching you when you
like-
sleep.
You miss.
I'll be watching you.
We're
We're watching.
No, we are.
Yeah.
No, really. We're watching what happens here. So
I mean, I'm just trying to give everybody, it's economic times are terrible. I followed my
Right.
dream.
Mm-hmm.
I set some money aside ahead of
Hey,
time.
eggs are back down though. Eggs are
Yeah, I know.
back
I
down.
haven't paid for eggs in 6 years.
Okay.
So
Good for you.
I wish I could have chickens, but I can't have
farmer,
chickens.
no, I mean I got a lot of farmers around me.
Nice.
Look at this. You get both books for 22. That's a discount, isn't it?
That's what
awesome,
I did.
man.
That's
Boom.
a heck of a
I
deal.
can't
That's
wait.
that's
I got
what I
the,
did too. I
uh,
did that. I did
Hey,
that as
Hojo.
well.
Hojo, how many pages?
24 pages plus
24
4
pages?
and art.
Oh, awesome.
28 total.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like I'm gonna wind up talking you into a 32 interior page book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna talk you into putting a couple of ads in there.
Okay.
Get you 32 pages plus cover.
All right.
Nice.
I've learned that's a pretty good way. You
Yeah.
can judge a lot
I
on that.
gotta ask you. Yeah, 32 pages is a pretty good way to go.
Yeah.
Portal. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, especially for $13. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're doing it like we sell our 32s retail for $5.
Yeah.
Like our 32 interiors for $5. So that's what we do retail for them.
And I'm
Like
not
right
just
now-
spending on crowdfunding either. I'm going to places. I'm going to used
Yeah.
bookstores. I got the Todd Father's working on a flyer with the QR code. I'm
Sweet.
plastering that at
Yeah.
all girls colleges, anywhere I can find where
There you go.
Hey.
All girls colleges.
Eudaimonia Raiden Radio is selling on Barnes and Nobles right now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
Raiden Radio's doing a good job.
I
Um,
mean, everyone you don't ask is automatically a no.
I know, right?
Exactly.
You have to put out there
We're
like
talking about that.
I just set up the outpost is what I'm calling it, the comic book outpost, the indie comic outpost over at the Trader Baker's there, the flea market trading post thing that they got. And so I just set that up yesterday. I still got like 14 spots available. So if you guys are out there and you want to sell your books on consignment with me, you ship them to me and I'll sell them there, and we'll split the profit on it. It's basically a set and forget for me, but Nick is always on me about passive streams of income.
Passive streams. That way
Always.
you're getting paid between content. That way, because if you had
Yeah.
more passive streams when you were taking a nap, you would have made money.
Right, and I didn't have any of
And I
that.
hate to put it that way,
Right.
but you got. You
You're-
It's
got
not like making money when
You're
you're
right.
sleeping, right?
Right. Here's the thing. Going to sleep for that long woke me up.
Yeah.
Honestly, it really did. When I woke up, I did more than just wake up. I woke up. I have a much more fierce drive to get things done, and so yeah, that's great for me. And honestly, right now, most of the stuff that's over there is just money in my pocket.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm fine with it. But I want to share that with everybody else. Because if it works there, what I'm going to do is they've got another one of those in a town about 20 miles away. I'm going to set one up over there too. You know?
Yes,
so
folks. I just want to comment that while Luke is launching one of the best independent comics of all time, and this isn't out of bias, I've read the dang thing. It's good.
I've read
Wow.
the first
And
It is
High
watching
praise
the
for
game.
Chrome Dog. Thank you.
Yeah, well,
Just
Chrome
kidding.
Dog's
Just
up there.
kidding.
No, I'm giving the best.
I ain't going to say
I hitched my
anything.
wagon. I hitched my wagon on that one. All right.
Dude,
Go ahead.
you
Go ahead,
have
Nick.
super glued your souls to the back of Luke's coat, and you are going to ride that bad boy as far as you can.
Diller's
You
like,
know?
my name's I'm a Chrome Dog expert. I have no idea. I'm a Chrome Dog expert now. I'm like,
All right, let me get out of here. I gotta go to bed and go to work tonight.
All right, man.
All right,
Good
man.
talk to you, bro.
All right, see you, buddy. Have a good one. Thanks for joining.
Throw me a wrench, by the way.
Well,
Yeah, really.
most people have put out issue 1 of their comic.
Yep.
Right.
Our boy
Fine,
Luke
man.
is over
Every time you
here.
ask me for a wrench, I'm gonna give it to somebody else who didn't ask.
That makes sense.
Oh.
That's
Well,
right.
There you go.
All
I'm
good.
saying
Oh, I got a
catch me
wrench.
enough
Why did I
to
get
it.
one?
And then I run
Every
out
time-
of people to give a wrench to, and then I have to give you a wrench because I run out of people to give a
Every
wrench.
time Hojo asks for a wrench,
You just
someone
give
else gets
somebody-
one.
Yeah, fine. I like helping people out.
Right.
That's right. Back
to you,
back
brother.
one wrench, buy one wrench. Anyway,
I'll see you
What's
guys.
that, bud? See ya.
See you, Finn.
Have fun. Peace.
I'm gonna have to come hang out with you
chat.
later.
All right, buddy.
Hail chat, yeah.
My point is, where most people have trouble getting a single comic out, Luke's crazy self. It's not like I yell at him for being spread too thin. No. He's out there putting out issue 9, the trade paperback, planning the next arc, putting out getting the game formatted, putting that out, launching a Kickstarter competitor, a small Kickstarter competitor, but a small Kickstarter, and going, you know what I need? I need to not only put my books out in this flea market, which is a business alone for most people, I need to immediately franchise that.
Yeah.
Like,
and on top of this, commissions too. Don't.
Well, it's
Yeah,
easy to
and
franchise,
when you see
yeah.
him, he's doing commissions. Now,
I'm working
can't
on a
say
great
much
book. I'm working on
because
Chrome Dog.
I'm actually working on a small commission right now, trying to make some bank. That's why I was quiet during the things that I don't know a lot about. But I want to see Luke succeed, but I also want to see him breathe at some point. I mean, you worked hard to be able to. Please keep breathing, Luke, because if you
We're gonna
burn
keep
out,
I just, I've got all this energy to do this stuff right now. And I want to, but I want it for me because I want to create my own sustainable economy. But I also want to share those opportunities with other people. But rest assured, I'm not doing it for free.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for free. My ideas and my time are worth something. And so, speaking of worth something, this may only be $13, but this book looks great. So Hojo just wanted to make a book because he loves comic books. He just wanted to make a comic book. You've got, what'd you say, 13 issues planned?
Yeah, I got 6 written already.
Okay, very good. You have an editor, right?
Yep, I think you might know her.
I might know her. Yeah. Is this the same lady that edited Hybrids?
Yes.
The co-writer of Rift Riders, which Rift Riders is getting ready to go to print this week, guys.
Ooh.
Very excited about it. Finishing up some lettering stuff. Getting ready to have Piper give her kind of final, give a look, give it a look over.
Yeah.
Make sure she's happy because we got to make Piper happy.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
She sent me a nice message after funding, so that was nice. Like I thanked her.
she-
I thanked everybody immediately. Like
Yeah.
anybody who's ever helped me, and you know who you are, paid.
You've got a good team here.
Across the
You're
board.
sitting at 74 backers, $3,631. What I would like to see is us put a little bacon on this morning, guys.
Yes.
So tell us about the premise of the book.
So it's a supernatural action mystery that surrounds Level M, which is a covert task force that's comprised of creatures from myth and legend. So if you want the mashup comparison, people always, you can do Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Wildcats with a little X-Files sprinkled on.
Oh, very
It's
cool.
been compared to Dresden Files, but I've only watched the TV show. I never read the books.
Okay. So you're going to get familiar characters with some new characters in there.
Yep.
And you're going to see fighting, and there's going to be a bit of gore. Let's play your trailer. I played your trailer at the front of the show.
I did send you the new one.
You did, and I just didn't put it in.
You're a little busy, Luke.
I don't know. I
You're
just
busy saving the comic book world.
yeah. Well, mostly I forgot.
Saving comics is a lot of work. Yeah.
I am ADHD. I do have ADHD, so sometimes my wife, honestly, when I go to the doctor by myself, she will pin a note to my shirt.
Aww.
And my doctor goes, is that a note from your wife? I said, yeah. She goes, and she goes, can I have it? And I said, sure. And I take it off and I give it to her. And she's like, okay. And then she goes over all the points with me. And because my doctor knows how severely ADHD I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's the one that has prescribed me the medicine.
Mhm.
Without that fun blue pill that I take, this blue capsule. There's another one there too. That's a fun one too.
Sorry.
You get one of those. Don't get those mixed
I
up.
didn't get it until Nick started laughing. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't get those two mixed up. You'll have a fun day.
I hate when you do that to me, Luke. I hate what he does is he like joke assassinates me. You know, it's like he'll be saying, and just by the way, cat, and it just breaks my whole concentration for a minute.
He just
Like,
thinks
dang it,
it's funny. Here's the thing: you got to play to your audience, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's an episode of The Office where they're laughing about meatballs, right? And so because Pam's gone, so Jim just starts doing meatball gags.
I know. What you're
And it's
talking
really
about.
a trick so that they can get free meatballs.
Yeah.
But with Stanley, but he's like, you play to your. He goes, I know it's stupid, but I play to my audience. That's how I am. That's why I love being around Nick, because I'm like, oh, Nick's gonna think that's hilarious. So I'll do stuff to make Nick laugh. Time to take my pill. Jason says, yeah, I took my ADHD pill this morning. I make sure to always take it on Thursday. And I joked a little bit. I take a Tramadol, I take a pain pill, because I know I'm going to be sitting in the chair, and I have chronic back pain.
Oh, me too.
And I know I'm going to be in pain.
Me too.
And so I took one. I was like, I accidentally pulled out 3. And I said, I'll just take 3 of those today. And, my wife and daughter joked about, Luke getting on stream and, saying weird things. I'm like, yeah, talk about my rap career. And, who knows what it'll be. But here, let's watch this.
And he runs a clip from his rap career.
Oh, it always does that.
Nancy Moon.
In a world where creatures of myth and legend exist.
You know what? I'm not really liking
Our
the.
task force is charged with keeping humanity safe.
Here, I'm gonna play our version down here. It tracks better than the YouTube one does, I think. Don't you agree?
Yes.
I agree.
It's kind of chuggy.
Yeah, it's kind of chuggy. So yeah, let me play it this way. It's still gonna say sign up, but you guys know to go back it, because we're putting the link in the chat right now.
In a world where creatures of myth and legend exist, a covert task force is charged with keeping humanity safe from supernatural threats. And when young Nancy Moon stumbles into the eternal battle between good and evil, she finds... Oh my god, will you shut up? What's happening? Agent Beckett here. Aren't you tired of stuff like that? Want something different? Roll the tape.
Die.
Whoops.
I love that part.
Sorry about that. That's a song I'm writing for my ex. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's more like it. Alrighty. Welcome to the world of the Mythicals. We have it all. Monsters. Magic. Government agents. He's the strong silent type. This guy. Ugh, gross, dude. Get some
That's
kind of
just
cream
so
or
ugly.
something. Lots of 90s style action. Pew pew pew. And that strong female lead alluded to earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention a dashing field commander with a great sense of fashion. Look at those glasses. South River Studios presents The Mythicals, Issue 1. Buy it, if you dare. Ugh. Will you can it already? How'd you get free? Now beat it before I lose my cool. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today. Like right now.
Sign up today on Indiegogo.
You know what I like about that trailer is the off-screen cartoon violence.
Yes.
And that dude really uses the Luke solution. Would you can it already?
I'm watching that. Would you can the would you can it already? And he takes it out. That needs to be something that can be cut out and memed to other things. I think you could get a lot. I'm serious. I think you could get a lot of publicity by doing an ad where you're just, instead of, the Mythicals solves other problems. And it's just the same response over and over, where it's like, whoosh, whoosh, and cuts to him just jumping down the screen.
Yeah, let's just. There's a solution. Boom, boom.
Noisy neighbors. Would you cut it all already? Crunch, 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 crunch.
Yeah, I love it.
TikTok dances.
So, is this character self-insert, Hojo? You're muted.
I don't know. Maybe I don't look at it as a self-insert. He's way more badass than I am, but there's a character that their commentary is kind of my worldview, and kind of they're a Horcrux. This kind of like I split my personality into like all these characters. Like
that's a good thing to do. Yeah,
it's,
that's what keeps it from being an insert. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, he's. I had a squad leader kind of like him. I'm just like, man, this guy just doesn't care, like at all. Like, I mean, there's no filter, and it's amplified. Like whatever he's thinking, he says it worse. Didn't know that was possible.
He somehow makes it worse.
Yeah, somehow. But he's good at what he does.
What is with that?
Yeah.
Jason, I do agree.
Like being on a show with Luke.
I was diagnosed early, but I didn't start taking medication for my ADHD until I was 42. I'm 42 as well. So till recently. And the medication helps, but when you stop looking at it as a deficit or a disorder and you start looking at it as a superpower, it is amazing. When my superpower kicks in, I am the most productive person on the planet. I can get things done. I forget what day it is, what time it is. That's why I'm able to do the things that I'm able to do. Because once the superpower kicks in, and the pills help me. I describe it like this. Imagine you're in a dark room, and you guys know what fireflies are, right? Lightning bugs. Yeah. You've got fireflies floating around in a dark room, flying around, and they blink. And for my brain to have an idea and hold it is like trying to follow one single firefly in that dark room full of fireflies, right? I'm distracted by everything, and I'll jump from one to the next. The pill, what it does is it's like that on that video game thing when you hit that button and everything like slows down for a second. It's like bullet time, right?
Like Max Payne.
Right, yeah. So I'm like Max Payne. I'm feeling that, so I can find the thing that I want to latch onto. And so as soon as I do that, I can then just let my superpower go. And it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. And the amount of creativity that you have. People with ADHD, with this, they have hyper creativity as well. Like you're thinking and always creating and doing, and you have tons of ideas. And that's why I have tons of things that I'm doing right now, because of all of the thing.
Yeah.
All of the things.
Yep.
But right now my focus is getting one more backer on this campaign.
Yeah, every little bit helps. I mean, because I had to do what I had to do. Like Finn was saying, it was like, people they're looking at you. Like, the reason I had to do this because I have no YouTube presence. I don't have time to have a YouTube channel, and I definitely don't have the capabilities or the patience to deal with all the stuff that you guys are doing behind the scenes. Can't do it.
Yeah,
so I'll bump up all my friends. I'll come on. I'll talk with you guys. I have a family, so I can't really be here on the weekend. So I'm at a severe disadvantage. Like the formula I had to cut that part out of it and amplify everything else. I had to take this trailer and smack someone in the face. I'm like, look at this. This is funny as hell. Like, somebody sent me a message last night that said, Mark Polton is playing your trailer right now. So I went back and looked at it, and I can't say his last name right. His first name's Sean. He's on with Joe Sontag all the time with art and stuff. He's got a Sean
Arendt.
he just started laughing his face off. He's like, oh my God, that's hilarious. That's great. Same thing the other night I was on with 80s Made. Billy Basco was like, he was just giggling. He's like, and when they said pew, 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 I could see every single person right here go, because that speaks to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's who we are. We find stuff like that funny. And so I tried to distill all this down, the campaign. I worked on this campaign. I don't know how many hours I spent getting this campaign straight. And it still didn't go off without a hitch. I accidentally gave some people free shipping in the beginning before I caught it. But it's not a big deal. I'll eat it because that's my fault. And that's customer service. I will help you out. I gave them an option. You can either have another free print or you still get free shipping. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's all about the consumer. It's all about what I think about this all the time. Like, what would I want to read? What would my friends have read?
Yeah, it's an end result.
Would this be something that people would pick up? Because the cover gets everyone. I mean, you have to have a good cover, but you have to also walk that fine line of like, dude, this cover looks nothing like the interiors.
Yeah. Speaking of covers, I love this Gilmore cover that you have.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about, you were really on the fence with this because I know that you're a man of faith, right?
Pretty
and
much.
And looking at, you have this villain who is basically kind of mocking our faith.
Yes, and that's there. But there's a reason he's doing that.
Yeah.
You'll find all that out. And when
you
the
were
villains
concerned about
lose,
that.
they lose hard.
Right. But you were concerned about that and having a cover that glorifies, feels like it glorifies the villain. And I said no. I remember you asked me, a lot of people will ask me, they'll run things by me from my pastor filter.
That's what I did.
It's like, and you did that. And I said, look, as a pastor and as a creator, I say go for it. Because I can clearly tell that what that bad guy is doing is mocking. But that's what the Antichrist is, or the spirit of the Antichrist does. It mocks what Christ is. It takes whatever is great about the Son and bastardizes him.
Yeah.
That's what it does, right?
Let's just say he's a little bitter from his time on Earth.
Right, yeah.
That's all I can say.
But that's also kind of relatable as a man who is a pastor. Not currently vocationally, but it's easy to get bitter in your calling. And so anybody could become the bad guy here, but he's clearly a bad guy. Like, he's so bad. And I remember I was like, dude, go with it. It looks great. I love it.
I blackened out the logo, and I was like, Pete, we're just gonna make it all black. And then he gave me like the original grayscale, and I'm like, all right, saving this, but I don't want anybody to color this, and I kind of want a little red. He was like, I'll do it, but nobody colors my stuff. I'm like, okay, if you say so. Whatever, you're the man. It's it wasn't any extra money on my end, so
let him do it.
I said, sure,
man, it looks great. It looks great.
We get a different copy. I have 3 different versions of this one. Like, I have. Actually, I left this one on accident on the PDF thing, and someone Pixel made up the mock-up. It's got the blood on the knife. It's just a little bit of blood. But I didn't want to have this front and center like this on Indiegogo and then say, blah, 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 blah. No, we can't do that.
Yeah,
we'll
because
gigantic bosoms here, but we're not going to have that little blood.
You're not going to have that problem on Fun of My Comic.
Yeah.
We're not pulling you down for little blood on a knife.
So, like, everything about this campaign is strategic. Like, it's,
Man, this looks so cool. But here, guys, look. For $8, you can get it digital. Okay?
Yeah.
The book is the pages are done.
Just got the final. I had to remove the graphic earlier. Just got the final colored page in today.
Yeah, final colored page. It's almost fully lettered. It's about halfway done.
Yep.
Hojo's already talking to me. I gave him my printer so that he can get set up with And if
I'm waiting to hear back from him. I got some quotes yesterday. I'll get with you offline on it and see what the price is.
He takes a minute to get back. We're still waiting on Still waiting on quotes for Soltac, but we'll get that together. Get that together soon. Soltac will be fulfilled very soon as well. I'm gonna have so many books here. I'm loving it. I love it. Man, comic books they're awesome.
Yes,
they really are. It reminds
there's
me.
somebody else who talks about that.
Well, there is, and I think maybe if you don't believe me, you'll believe him.
Comics are awesome.
Comics are awesome, and this one looks awesome, man. I'm very excited about this. I've seen this from kind of early stages.
Yeah.
When I stumbled into the Genesis crew, and you were there sharing this stuff, man. I thought it was awesome. It looks great. Right now, you have been at 74 backers, and I would like to put a little bacon on this, bacon wrap it a little bit, and if one of you guys out there could do us a favor and bump this up to 75 backers, we'll make the birdie dance. Okay, so let's work on getting this thing up to 75 backers because we're at 74 currently, with 25 days left to go. Guys, check this out. Let's throw this link in there, and let's use a little peer pressure if we've got it.
Do it.
Do it. Just guys, you just gotta, you just do it. Do it.
Yeah, I did a job. I got nothing but trouble since I did it, not to mention more than a few unkind words as regard to my character, so let me make this abundantly clear. I do the job. And then I get paid.
You've done the job. Now it's time to get paid. All right? Guys, get out there and back this thing. It looks great. Hojo, it's his first attempt at a book, but I'm going to tell you what. He has surrounded himself with enough people that he is going to manage this just well.
Oh, yeah.
I see a lot of people out there that are doing, that are attempting to do their first book, but they're not asking questions.
No.
They think they've got it all under control. They think they know everything, and they're nowhere near ready. Like there's a guy that's doing all he's doing is showing covers, cover after cover after cover after cover, and people are like, "Hey, where's your interiors?" Oh, well, I don't have any of them yet. Well, no one's gonna back your book unless we see that you've got sequential art.
Yeah.
Yep.
Show this stuff. Show it. Dude,
Not a
you're
cover
showing
book.
finished pages here.
Yeah.
You're not just showing covers and stickers and clipped panels. You're not just showing that. You're showing actual lettered pages.
Yep.
This is the book. The book is going. Guys, this is what you got to do. You got to get out there. You got to see this stuff. It is so hard to make a comic book. People think it's easy.
No, it's not. It is not.
It is not an
I
easy
thought, I
task.
thought it was easy at first. I'm like, it can't be that hard. All I do is write the script, get people to draw it. How hard could it be?
How hard could it be? Well, finding a good artist that's going to be there for the long term.
Yeah.
And then when you don't, making sure you've got a consistent artist for book 2 or 3.
Right there, B.A. Turner. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Backer number 81. Boom.
All right.
Boom. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Oh, it didn't register yet.
It takes a while. I actually get an email alert before Indiegogo updates it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You're supposed to anyway. Come on, we gotta see the number. Gotta see the number.
Come along.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. And you
There
know,
we go.
every time we throw a little bacon on it, we make the birdie dance. Thank you so much for being a backer. We appreciate it.
Very
Thank
much
you for taking a look at this, and yeah, man, hell,
Yeah, man.
excellent. Thank you very much.
It's so
Thank
cool.
you very much, man.
I love seeing people
Turner.
succeed.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yep, this book looks good. I am all for it. Really looking forward to what you've got. I know that Randy's even talked to you about joining the Arrow Arrow family.
Yeah.
And maybe that might work out. Who knows? We don't know. But very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool work you're doing. And no matter what happens, I'm going to be promoting it.
Yeah.
I am interested and excited to see where your career goes, Hojo.
Yeah, I got a lot of irons in the fire. I actually picked up a writing commission from someone we all know, and it's nothing that I've ever done, but it's something like, if you know me, like behind closed doors, my personality or something, like I have it a little buttoned down today, but when I can just go off the chain and just write some, like go all Mad Magazine to the 10th degree, and that's what this is going to be.
We've seen your commercial.
Yeah, well, it's going to be that turned up to 11, and
exactly.
Well,
I'm trying to stretch myself, right?
The chat,
so much time.
The chat is very aware of my 3 rules.
Yeah, yeah.
And the writer of my 3 rules is sitting right there. It's that guy.
Yep.
Yeah, that Baconeer.
Sorry, Nick.
Yep.
He's like, thanks a lot. Made my
You'll notice I haven't even bothered putting my glasses on.
Yeah.
I just left them off for a while because I knew I'd be taking them off again.
Number 1, I don't care. Number 2, why not? Yeah. Number 3, uncancelable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yep. And so far it's worked. So far they're working. Yeah. Great rules. So far, so man, good. This has been a great show. We've gone a lot of places.
Fun. Yeah,
we've had a lot of great guests on today on the panel. It was great seeing Finatra again. I haven't talked with Finatra for ages, man.
I actually funded on his show.
Awesome!
Saturday morning, 13 hours.
Awesome.
Another supernatural.
Yeah,
thing.
We're seeing some great names in our chat, man. The chat, you guys have been amazing today. We were not able to stream to the Facebook group because Facebook is having issues, but it seems like all of our views are coming in from YouTube. We may get to the point where we stop multicasting to anywhere but YouTube on a Thursday morning. But this is episode 55. We've done this 55 times now.
Yep. We've been at it, man.
Yeah. And we've really grown and we've adapted a lot. We recently decided this year to start doing more of the discussing the news and giving our opinions on what's happening in comic book news. And I think it's great. I think we're able to inform people. Like the discussion today about Scott Adams, to inform. I know a lot of people maybe had a peripheral idea about what was going on, but maybe not a good view of it. And man, that guy, he not only stepped in it, he laid down and rolled around in it.
Mm-hmm. I don't see any coming back from this one.
No, I don't see any coming back from those words.
They're gonna burn the books.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
That may sound terrible, but it's been bugging me since I listened to us go over this again.
Yeah.
What if he has a Disney-style contract with somebody he wants out of?
What if he did it on purpose?
Because people are like, well, he did it on purpose. The only reason he could have done something like that on purpose was it was the only way to get out of a clause.
He had to cancel himself. Maybe he did. Maybe he knew what. Because he's so smart.
Yeah. I mean, if he really, because it was such a, first thing I'd want to fact check if I were doubling down on this,
right,
is has he ever actually referred to himself as black?
Yeah, I want to see some prior evidence of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it exists.
I don't. Yeah.
But because he was sincere, so I'm like, okay, if he's sincere, why is he doing this? It doesn't make any measure of sense.
I want to bring up focus on one thing before we close out today.
Yep.
Right now on our campaign, we have a try it first tier for $1. Basically, what you're going to get is when you back that, I'm going to send you immediately, I'm going to send you a link to a Google Drive. And in that Google Drive is going to have issue 1 and issue 2 of the PDFs for the book. And you're going to get the quick play, right? You're going to get the quick play right away for that as well. So that this is the first time that's been available digital. And Nick and I are working on scheduling a new live playthrough of the quick play so you guys can see the rules. And what we'll do is we'll even during that time, before and after, we'll share some of the new charts that are made and some of the new features that you're going to be able to take advantage of in the game realm with the core manual. So we're working on scheduling that so we can get that done. It'll probably happen on this channel.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
the easiest.
Because I'm ready. I want to play.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
I want to play.
All right, you're in. You're in. We'll just work out the schedule. And so we're looking for. Well, now we're looking for 3 more people.
Yeah.
Pedro, friend, we have to get you in because there's
Yeah,
something
sure.
I have to do for you. For this.
Where, bro?
So I'm requesting Pedro, and he may have a non-standard character. Well, no, you'll have to be standard, but I have something I'm working on for you. I have a surprise for Pedro.
Where donkey? Yeah.
I think a Wereboro is in the cards. So guys, go check that out. I mean, for $1. The reason why we're not just giving away for free, but we're putting $1 on it, is because when you back it, that boosts us in the algorithms. Okay, that allows us to get seen a little bit better. So we're asking for your help in that manner as well. The other thing that I want you guys to do is go to fundmycomic.com and sign up for that. I'm literally sending out today some things for that. I do want to check out your pre-launch, BA. Maybe we can have you on here soon, maybe next week even, to talk about what you're doing. And so go to my website or go to Twitter and contact me, and we'll get that set up for you, okay? Absolutely, that would be amazing. But check that out, because when we do fundmycomic.com, there's not going to be any algorithms. We are going to have a featured section, but those are curated by the staff. All right? And so what happens is you will have the opportunity to tip the website. When you tip the site, you put that campaign on the featured list. Right? So you get the option to tip us, and when you tip the website, we boost the campaign. And the money that you give to tip the website is actually not going into our pockets, but it's going back into development to increase the number of features and make things better. So that's what we'll be doing. There is an opportunity that if we grow, we're going to keep this very niche for at least a year. We're going to try to hover around the 50 active campaigns mark. So we're going to try to it's going to be very niche. But we want to make sure that all of our systems are tested and working well before we really scale this thing up. But we may scale it up to where there's an app and things like that available. And then we may even incorporate other websites like, I don't know, like Fund My Bodega or Fund My Animation or Fund, so we may work on other things like that to include. So, I mean, we have goals. We know where we're going. And we're also looking at possibly including fulfillment options for you, working with RJ and Critical Blast so that he can help handle your fulfillment and have back-end access to your campaigns. We can do that for you. We're going to implement that later down the road. So, yeah, we got lots of stuff that we're doing, guys. Lots of stuff. But for the time being, we have got to get eyes on this double feature. There are people that said they're not going to back it because they're going to wait for Fund My Comic. That's fine. Thank you for waiting to support.
You know what?
But this helps us too.
Seriously, guys, if you're doing that, and obviously we respect it, please message Luke. Just let him know that that's what's going on.
Right.
So that, you want to message me too. I'm on Twitter all
add
the
that
time.
into the projections a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so we know, because Luke wants to do a whole lot of it's Luke, so there are big ideas always going on in the background. And my job, even when I don't want to, but just to serve as counterbalance sometimes, is to devil's advocate and say things like, okay, but is it profitable? Is there really interest? Is this what you want? Because it has to be about serving the community. So you need to reach out to us to know that this is what you want. That, you know, you want the game. You want Fund My Comic. He's putting all his, he's putting all his cards on the table in front of you. We gotta know if this hand is a winner to you. So reach out. Because it's hard being this far out on the raggedy edge.
Yeah.
When, you know, this is either going to be a huge thing or another, well, poo.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think we've all been kicked enough in the last few years that not only do we as a community need a win, but I mean, look at everything Luke's been through. He needs a win here. And if not, he needs to know so that he can double down on other, you know, projects.
Yeah. There's so many projects that we could be working on. I don't think people are done with hybrid yet, but I do know that we have the huge price point jumping in on this thing.
Yeah.
The quick plays are 15. Just the nature of gaming engines. This stuff, they're more expensive. They have to be. The trade paperback is 25. It's 144 pages. The core rules is 35. We're looking at a lot of charts.
In here.
Sure. Yeah.
We did the quick play. As part of the quick play is the intro to the first adventure module, because there are a lot of people who maybe they don't want to write up their own adventure. The second adventure module continues on that story.
Right.
And that's what we're also offering. And it is a great, great story. The only reason we're not running it is we don't want to spoil it.
Right.
We want you guys to have the experience of, there are some surprises. Yeah. There are some twists, you know. I put a lot of effort into it. I don't write for other people often. So when I do, I kind of put heart and soul into it because I operate on how I would want somebody to operate for me. And this is a great game. It's a great campaign, and it's continually setting up for things running parallel to the comic universe. So I think you'll really enjoy it, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
They are all connected. Absolutely, everything's connected. Nick gets the universe just about as good as anybody I've ever met gets the universe. And I think that he might like it more than I do, which is a hard sell for me to buy, but honestly.
I think I see more of the potential universe than you do sometimes.
I think so. I think I have those like, yeah, but I'm just Luke, and it's nobody really likes this, you know, kind of mentality.
Your imposter syndrome comes up.
Yeah, Nick is always encouraging me with it. So,
well, I'm imposter syndrome, but excited. There are two little projects that I wrote for Luke that'll be included in, I want to say, the next trade paperback.
Yeah.
Is it the next or the omnibus? I have to not talk about it in that, I can't spoil it, but it sucks because it's like, oh my God, I got to do this. Luke let me play in this world a little bit between that and the stuff that's in the book. Already, it's so exciting to be part of an IP at a point where it's still kind of coalescing. You look at like Batman or Superman or the X-Men, and too many cooks have spoiled the pot, in my opinion. There are too many people who've been, no, but let's take it this way. And it's gotten to the point where you don't have an entry point. And, since anything that happens will probably be retconned in a minute and a half, there's no weight to the actions. Whereas, in hybrids, you don't have Chris Chibnall coming in and ruining 50 years of plot, Sorry, I dropped some spice there. I probably shouldn't have, but it happens.
Hey, sometimes you have to.
You bring up Batman and Superman and stuff, and even Spider-Man. Like a lot of these characters are so old hat. Like they should have sunset them for for a few years and then bring them back
Yes.
with fresh stories and then sunset them again. Kind of like spread the love among other heroes, but they never did that. They just want to wring every
Or
single
maybe just
piece
They
of
can't do that
out
because
of
that's
it.
what made them money. It's fear of the unknown. That's what made them money.
Well,
They were
100%.
using this.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But if they would have just alternated, kind of like you go skiing, you alternate the the way down the mountain. I think they may have seen a little better success. But then again,
oh yeah.
who am I?
I agree.
TED Talk.
Yeah. There's.
I agree.
And the thing is, we see all that stuff in retrospect. We really do. Maybe we don't see it in
well,
yeah.
Here and now. But the great thing I see with the way Luke has written the story, he's written it with longevity in mind. He's telling one big, little arcs into a bigger arc, but he set it up where there's ongoing, continual. There's no reason for the story to stop after 12.
Yeah, we're probably not going to be doing a lot of major events, but we're going to be doing spin-offs. We have a lot of spin-offs planned, and we have a connected universe that we're building. The Rift Rider universe that we're fulfilling this month is connected. It's the glue. It's the connective tissue for all of the things that I'm creating. And so it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. I'm telling you. You think big. Think big. That's why Hojo's like, I got 13 issues.
I would like to take and jump what you just said into possibly content for next week. Because what you're talking about is essentially a multiverse.
Right.
And why not spend next week talking about what's right and wrong with multiverses? Because so many people handle it, I don't want to say poorly. But,
well, they do.
They do. They treat it as a lazy excuse.
Well, it gets convoluted,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
everything gets convoluted. And
how as a writer, you're going to work to prevent that level of convolution,
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that would be really interesting for our viewers, because a lot of people come to this program because, we have people like you, we have people like Randy and Glenn who have a lot of history and a lot of knowledge of the field.
Oh, that's my favorite. I could just listen to that all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from that perspective of, a bygone era, perhaps tragically, perhaps not. That's a whole nother conversation. But seeing the relevance between that and what's going on now, we should be going, well, if we know the patterns are going to repeat, what are we doing to prevent the parts we don't like in our own work? Because so many people watch this and they watch Luke going, okay, this is how to do it. It's a master class in many ways.
I don't know if watching me is the right thing to do or not, because I hit a lot of roadblocks, but
well, yeah, and
I'm willing to go down the rough road if I need to, which most of them have. And I'll be honest with you, Fun My Comic has been a rough road. I didn't want to cowboy that thing and pull my domain back to a different site. But when you have 3 weeks of no communication, we have no other recourse but to think that, man, maybe they've dropped the ball. And it's not that it's been no communication and I haven't reached out. I've reached out every week, wanting, some kind of a heads up on what's going on. But we've been cut out of all those conversations. So now we have our own lawyers. We have our own bankers. We have our own advisors telling us, what we need to do business-wise to move forward, because it is Todd and I's business. It's not Surrendum's business. It's our business. We own Fund My Comic. And whoever we partner with, we need to be able to trust and know that they're going to be communicating with us the processes that we're going to use. And we don't feel like we've been getting that. And so if Surrendum tomorrow says the site's ready, we can easily migrate over there to him. And I would be happy to do that. I would be more than happy to do that. But today, that's not been the case.
Huh.
If you guys remember Pixel.
Oh, that is.
Good times. Good times. So,
all right,
well,
fellas, I'm gonna go get
my
some
little
lunch.
dog tells me it's time to go.
Hojo.
Yeah.
It was good seeing you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Awesome, you're killing it. Just
thanks
keep
for
at
having me. I'm trying, man. I'm grinding.
So everybody, we've been
is
at
a
this for
grind.
4 hours, guys. This is the longest show we've
Yeah.
ever done.
Yeah,
So
we
we've been
have.
at this for 4 hours, and Chloe says it's time for me to go because she wants some pop time. So we are gonna go and have a good day. Remember, build up more than you tear down. Leave the woodpile higher than you found it, and by all means, we want you to.
Let's be careful
Chloe
out
wants to-
there.
Let's be careful out there.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. Two Caucasians of the male persuasion put a bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see it 211, half a dozen 459, 2 W's a GTA, several miscellaneous fines.